a sunny day here in Annapolis, but it's on the windy side. Temperatures around 46 degrees and a stiff breeze blowing out of the northwest, 20 miles an hour, gusting to 27. South Carolina with a beer-type offense that don't rely on the passing game near as much as Navy has to. And, of course, Navy comes in very banged up. Bill Byrne will miss his second straight game as quarterback. Bob Fish will be in there. And, of course, Nathan will be missing game number 9 since he went out in the second game. And coming back against Army.
Home Team Sports presents NCAA football this afternoon from the Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. It's the Naval Academy versus number 2 ranked South Carolina.
We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Today's game is brought to you by Stroh's. From one beer lover to another, Stroh's. The parade of the midshipmen in the Navy Marine Corps Stadium, a long-lasting tradition, part of the history of college football here in Annapolis.
The man who wears the Texaco star, and by Rockwell International Defense Electronics Operations, bringing technology to our nation's defense.
Welcome to our telecast of NCAA football, Naval Academy, a team that has been decimated with injuries, a season that started so promisingly with a chance at a Heisman Trophy winner, Napoleon McCallum. Well, he was injured early on, and the injuries have continued ever since. For South Carolina, well, they've been headed in just the opposite direction. This is already the greatest season in South Carolina football history. And Stan White, South Carolina heading for a possible national championship. The Navy Academy, well, do they have any chance of beating South Carolina today?
Well, I think you have to look at two things from the Naval Academy standpoint. Number one, this is an opportunity for them. If they were playing Lehigh or a team like this, if they won, who would care? It wouldn't prove anything. This is a chance to maybe even salvage a little bit of their season. If they could win this week and beat Army, they'd have a heck of a season. The second thing is this is their last home game for their seniors. There's a lot of seniors on this squad. They like to go out a winner. They like to beat a team like South Carolina. It really is an opportunity for them. I know Coach Tranquil has tried to put that in their minds this week, that this is something that's better than playing an unranked team. This is an opportunity to do something that's really important.
All right, now next week, South Carolina faces Clemson at Clemson. Not only is that a cross-state historic rivalry, it's a very tough ball game for them. Perhaps the biggest obstacle for them to hurdle to remain undefeated. Is it possible that Joe Morrison's ball club would overlook Navy?
Well, I think from a natural standpoint it would be. If you're thinking from a player's standpoint, the coaches say, no, we won't overlook it. There's too much at stake. Well, you got to say, geez, this team got beat 29-0 by Syracuse last week. They're all beat up. We got Clemson next week. Let's just go in here and win this one quickly and get home and start preparing for Clemson. If they do that, and they give them a few big plays early, Navy has a chance to play this game.
And Navy not only lost McCallum, they've lost just about everybody else who started the season in that offensive backfield.
Yeah, they have. They lost John Burner again today. He probably won't play. So they've lost almost all of their backfield. So they really have to throw the ball up and hope the right things happen. They haven't had a running attack all year. They've been passing the ball well when Bill Byrne was in there, but he's hurt now. He made a tackle after an interception and broke his ankle. So you pay the price when you throw an interception. But since the Michigan's come in, they haven't had the success that they want. They have to throw the ball up and just hope that their receivers can get the ball.
All right, so for Navy, a chance to salvage this season, which has already been very disappointing. For South Carolina, well, we'll be talking about a little bit more later on, but they've got major bowl bids to think about, and they need an impressive victory here today to continue on with that. It is a beautiful, bright blue day here, although it's very cool, and a man is going to have to dress warmly because he'll be down on the sidelines. His home team sports, Tom Davis. Let's go to Tom right now.
Well, thanks a lot, John. It is very cold, and the wind is sort of shifting down here on the field. At times it's blowing across field, then other times it's blowing downfield, so it could affect the kicking game as the game progresses. The midshipmen are basically now getting ready to try to out-cheer the South Carolina side as they warm up for the start in about 15 minutes to this game. I'll be keeping you abreast of all the scores of the games across the country, including the Maryland-Clemson game, which will begin in about an hour from now at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Of course, I'll also be keeping you up to date on some of the teams that will be interested in possible bowl bids at the end of the season. In addition to that, anybody that gets injured, we'll let you know right about what's happening down here from the sideline. And it should be a rather interesting game between Navy and South Carolina. The one big thing that Gary Tranquil does not want to let happen today is let South Carolina come up with a big play, because that is something that has hurt Navy in the past, and South Carolina has done that extremely well in the last couple of weeks. Let's go back upstairs now to John Stanton.
All right, Tom Davis, thank you very much. And Tom will be down there on the sidelines all through the afternoon. Gary Tranquil, the coach of Navy, Joe Morrison, who right now could run for governor of South Carolina. We'll meet the two coaches of the two ball clubs today when we continue from Navy Marine Corps Stadium after these words.
I think if they beat to the Orange Bowl.
12:20 kickoff to see South Carolina Navy go at it.
Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, as today Home Team Sports brings you live coverage, exclusive coverage of the South Carolina versus Navy ball game. And we want to welcome our sister station, our sister company up in Seattle, Washington, the Super Channel, as they too are viewing our coverage of the South Carolina Navy game today. So welcome to everybody out there in the Pacific Northwest. I'm John Miller. This is Stan White. This is Gary Tranquil in his third year as coach here at Navy. And what about Gary Tranquil?
Well, I'm sure he has to be very disappointed the way the season has gone. He took over for George Welsh 3 years ago. Welsh had great success here, has carried that success to Virginia. Now he's looking at a 12-18-1 record in his third year. This year, 3-5-1, really having their problems. I'm sure he's looking at the game today, as we talked about earlier, as a real opportunity to pull the whole program back up to the level he wants it to be. A win this week and next week would really put him in great shape.
Well, it certainly would. Now, Gary Tranquil, as we said, in his third year as the coach here at the Naval Academy, and we had a chance to visit with Tranquil earlier today. Let's meet the coach of the midshipmen right now.
Well, we'd like to have McCallum and Vern and a few of the other injured folks. Yeah, I think we'd be a lot better off, but unfortunately we don't. We have to play today, so we're going to play with what we have.
How good a club is South Carolina?
Well, I think they're an excellent football team. Probably as explosive offensively or capable of making big plays as any team I've seen. Defensively, they have the nickname Fire Ants, I believe, and that's not for nothing. They run, they're very aggressive. It's a good defensive team, too.
Now, your club's coming off of a loss to Syracuse, a tough loss to Notre Dame. Are they back up now after that loss to Notre Dame?
Well, I hope so. The combination of losing to Notre Dame the way we lost and losing some key players and going up to Syracuse without them, I think we were on down and we did not play very well at all. We were a very flat football team. Hopefully now we've got 2 weeks to recuperate and go out and play as hard as we can. Well, we've had 2 good practices. This is test week in Annapolis, and that's always a tough week. But we've had 2 good days, and Thursday we just kind of touched up the edges and ran a little bit and got some of the execution work down. But I think it was a good week.
All right, Tom, thank you very much, and thanks to Coach Gary Tranquil of the Naval Academy. And Joe Morrison is probably better known to most of you, as he was really to us, in his days as an excellent all-purpose player with the New York Giants, back in the glory days of the Giants, the days of Gifford and Schaffner and Tittle and Sam Huff. Well, Morrison has turned into a pretty good coach, too. He has turned the South Carolina program around almost overnight, Stan.
Well, he sure has. His second year, he's 9-0. The school has never won 9 games in one season. They're on the verge of going to a major bowl. He's really turned it around. He's, like you said, he could run for governor of the state and probably win. He's got the black magic going in South Carolina. He wears all black. They can't keep black clothes in the stores in South Carolina, so he's really brought that whole state together.
He's a pretty cool customer, too, isn't he?
Well, he sure is. He's been around. Like you said, he spent 14 years in the National Football League. He's been in coaching for a number of years. He's had success elsewhere. And he left New Mexico because he went 10-1 and didn't get to go to a bowl. So this may be his first chance as a coach to go to a major bowl also.
And I think that's the reason he left New Mexico, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He left there, and he had that 10-1 season. They didn't get any ranking. They didn't get any bowl bids. So he came here with the idea of putting together a program to get to a national bowl. I think it's even surprised him how quickly he's done that.
Well, he's certainly done it. 9-0, ranked second. Right now, let's meet the coach of the Gamecocks, Joe Morrison.
38-yard play to set up a touchdown. Raynard Brown, another of their 5 running backs, had a Gamecock record 99-yard kickoff return.
Where we are at this particular point, you have to have a lot of good things happen to you during the course of the season. I think probably most important would be the injury situation. We've been fortunate to date with our injury situation. The ball's got to bounce right for you. You've got to have some things happen during the course of the ball game for you. And so far, so good.
You're in the midst of the 9-game winning streak. Yet Navy's 35-1. You got a big game next week against Clemson. How do you guard against a letdown against a team like the Navy?
Well, I think our young men realize that it took a lot of hard work and a lot of hard play during the course of the football season to get us where we are. And I don't think they want to, lose the ball game and tarnish that record. So I think from a motivational point of view, they understand that Navy's a very well-disciplined, aggressive football team, and they're going to have to play for 6 minutes. They're going to have to be a very emotional football team.
It's rare that you see a 2-quarterback system work. You saw it work in the NFL with Kittle and Connolly with the Giants, and you got it working with South Carolina. Tell us who will start and how the 2-quarterback system does.
Well, Alan Mitchell will start as he has all year long, and Alan's a fine quarterback. He reads the options very well. He reads defenses very well. He has great ability to automatic and get us out of bad play at the line of scrimmage, and I think that will probably be his strength. Sometime during the course of the ball game or the first half, we'll put Mike in, and there's no prescribed guidelines as to when that's going to happen. Mike has a little bit stronger arm, and he can run the ball, and he can read the option very well, and he can throw the ball. So he's kind of a big play guy, and he's been very successful at it.
Parts of your club will work out here. They do not seem like they're a very big
We'll be back in 60 seconds after these.
Well, no, we're not a big
the U.S. Naval Academy Football Network.
It's time to get ready to ski and save at the Plateau Ski Shop's Thanksgiving Goose Down Sale. Save 50% and more on Mozzie ski packages with Sullivan and Triolia bindings.
That was Coach Joe Morrison of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Well, there's a big game atmosphere here at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, and indeed there should be. South Carolina with a chance at a national championship, and plus, the big victory today, they just might be #1 when the day is ended. We'll be back with more momentarily.
During the Thanksgiving Goose Down ski sale.
Another scenic view here from the Navy Marine Corps Stadium in beautiful Annapolis. This is John Miller, along with Stan White on Home Team Sports, and we want to apologize. We apparently have had some audio difficulties, and we're working to get those all fixed up so we will not be plagued by those any longer throughout the day. We're awaiting the toss of the coin, Stan, and the weather could well be a factor today. It's very cold, and there's a strong breeze blowing.
Well, there is, and the wind always plays a factor in an open stadium like this. Both ends open. The wind's going to be blowing one way, and it's going to really affect the passing game. It's going to affect the field goal and the punts. It really plays havoc in the game. I think most players agree that the wind causes more problems than rain or snow or any other weather condition.
Well, we're just about ready to go now, and momentarily we will have the toss of the coin. As you get a look there at the balloons taking off for the Chesapeake Bay, it looks like that's the direction the wind is blowing, out toward the bay. Let's go down to midfield now for the toss of the coin.
Frank Wright, big lineman, and the special teams guy Jay Fry. They're meeting at the center of the field. The referee today is James Garvey. The umpire Dennis Riggs, our linesman Howard Eckert, line judge Gail Porter, and the field judge is James Grabowski, the back judge Ted Ruda. So while they have the traditional flip, we're going to pause 60 seconds. We'll be back for the kickoff after these local messages. This is the U.S. Naval Academy Football Network.
There are plenty of things you could be doing right now instead of listening to the radio, right?
You want your options now?
But listening to the radio is what you want to do right now.
You want your options
and
now?
And at Bank and Trust, we like to help people do the things they want when they want to. That's one reason we have cash flow 24-hour banking.
You have your choice.
With cash flow tellers at Annapolis Bank and Trust, you can make deposits, withdraw quick cash, transfer funds, pay bills, and more 24
hours Stan, I guess it has to do with that weather we're talking about, the fact that they are going to kick off.
Well, we've seen just about every game this year where the teams have deferred to the second half. This time, the wind is playing such a factor that they've chosen to defend a goal. Now, South Carolina, rather than receiving the ball, which is a natural conclusion when the other team chooses to defend a goal, has opted to kick off into the wind. So that's real surprising that they did that. Usually that when a team defends a goal, the other team will receive.
So we've had a surprise even though we have not yet begun. Now we mentioned bowl possibilities for South Carolina. We've got the president of the Orange Bowl, Ben Benjamin, standing by with our own Tom Davis. Tom?
John, this is Bob Lafferty from the Orange Bowl Committee who had to replace Ben Benjamin, who couldn't make it today. What about the possibilities for South Carolina going to the Orange Bowl?
Well, they look good, and this is an important game for them. Of course, State's rated number 2 and Nebraska's number 1. If we could ever have 1 and 2, that'd be a perfect matchup.
Now, what goes into the selection process?
All kinds of things. Rankings is a very important thing, and how many people are going to bring to Miami. But rankings and national championship are the things that we're most interested in.
Would you say that they're a sure shot, South Carolina, if they win their last 2 games to go to the Orange Bowl?
I'd say that, yes, the closest sure shot you can be without violating NCAA regulations.
We're getting ready for the opening kickoff. That's Bob Lafferty, the president of the Orange Bowl Committee. Let's go up to the start of today's game with John Miller and Stan White.
All right, John, thank you very much. South Carolina, the Gamecocks, will be kicking off. There is Scott Hagler. He does all the kicking off and also does the place kicking for this ball club. Scott Hagler. Deep for the Naval Academy, number 43, Vernon Wallace. He's on the left side of your screen. And number 45, Steve Brady, up at the top of your screen.
Well, John, we'll get an indication of how much the wind's going to play in today's game and how deep that kick goes. They're kicking into the wind to start the game.
The wind is blowing, as Stan mentioned, toward the Chesapeake Bay.
9-0 South Carolina Gamecocks is just seconds away from beginning as Hagler
kicking from, there's a look at how strong that wind is.
James Garvey and says, let's go. And this
Here's Hagler.
It's a high kick.
And the wind holds it up.
Wind coming down to Brady.
Comes down to the 15-yard line. Brady
covers it at the 23-yard line.
Although it wasn't a deep kick, he got, as they say, good hang time on it.
Well, he sure did. That was a big break for South Carolina, because if they could have fielded that ball, they'd have had great field position.
The Navy offensive lineup, Bob Mish, the quarterback, Rich Klaus, Chuck Smith, and Ken Hine, along with Chris Weiler, and the backfield there. And the offensive line. First and 10, they're going to mark it at the 23-yard line.
Smith and Klaus gets
flags are thrown.
The left side, not much, but
as Rich Klaus, senior tailback, carried it for maybe no gain at all, but we'll see what the flags are all about. Referees discuss it amongst themselves. The Navy started the season figuring its ground attack would really be its strong suit. McCallum, a chance at a Heisman Trophy. That's how good a running back he was in.
And the referee, Garvey, is marching off 5 yards against the Gamecocks. Now they're offside. Very good. Mike Ray is in at a flanker slot. Now Navy into an I formation. It's 1st and 5 and a handoff to Rich Klaus, and Klaus gets to the 30-yard line and is brought down hard. Went right away.
About the 30-yard line, a gain of a couple. There's the South Carolina defense, the Fire Ants. The offensive line, Sumter, Wright, Woodley, and Daniels. The linebackers, Miller, Vogel, and Hill.
Left end, Danny Miller, who will start at
not real big, John, but you'll see every play. They have 11 people around the ball. They're graded that way. If they don't make it into the picture, they have to do extra conditioning for each play they don't make it.
One man in the backfield behind Mish.
Smith, the setback, and it's a handoff to Chuck Smith, and Smith not much to the 32-yard line. Looks like he's going to be a little bit shy of the first down. Again, Vogel, leading tackler, combining with Sumter on the stop.
That was a little draw, a little counter draw play, and they came back in there, and it's going to be about 3rd down and a half a yard, Ted.
Navy knows that they can't get behind early in this game because they might never catch up against an explosive team like South Carolina. Hine is coming out on the left side. It's 3rd and less than a yard for a first down. Double tight ends up front, Mark Stevens and Sniffen, and diving over the middle for the first down is Chuck Smith, the fullback.
That was an awful good effort. He just went up and over, exactly like you said. He dove over the line. There was not a seam to hit. He just literally went up and over, and it's a first down.
Chuck Smith, he's a freshman out of Strongsville, Ohio, more suited as a tailback, but because of circumstances this year, he is
winning. They're going to have to put the ball up and do it successfully.
Ken Hine goes out wide to the left. Weiler is wide to the right. Klaus and Smith are the backfield, running mates behind Mish.
Bob Mish, the quarterback.
Play action.
He's rolling to his right. He's throwing.
Completed to the 47-yard line. Mark Stevens, the senior tight end from Hialeah, Florida, made the catch.
Now they're saying it was
did he?
Incomplete.
Looked like he did, but they're going to bring it back. Apparently he dropped it, Stan.
Well, it sure didn't look like it. Let's see it again on replay. It's the fake counter play they ran earlier, a rollout. It looks like he has the ball right there.
Mark Stevens caught the ball in traffic.
I tell you what, that was a completed pass and a fumble. Little doubt about that. The referees just don't like to make that decision. They like to call it incomplete every time the ball comes out, but that should be South Carolina's ball.
Out of the I formation, the fullback is Smith, the tailback is Klaus. 2nd and 10 at the 33. Intercepted! Intercepted by Joe Brooks. And he stepped out of bounds back at the 33-yard line, although he continued to run. There is no touchdown. And it will be a South Carolina ball, however, with excellent field position. And Mish kind of put that one up for grabs with the man well covered.
Well, it was basically the same play as they ran before. A play-action pass. This time, though, South Carolina was in a blitz. You'll watch them blitz. And they had man-to-man coverage, which meant, see the strong safety chasing the tight end. The pass just hung up here too long. He's able to cut in front of him. Brooks right there cuts in front of the tight end, Mark Stevens. If he doesn't step out there, he's gone down the sideline. This is what Navy has to avoid. They can't let South Carolina get out to a quick lead.
Ira Hillary wide to the right side. Wide left is Bill Bradshaw. Mitchell, the quarterback, pitches out to Dendy on the option. Trying to cut the corner, and he cannot do it. Chad Van Hosen, the first man to hit him, number 85. And Dendy lost about a yard there. The line of scrimmage was the 34. There's the South Carolina offense. Mitchell, the quarterback. Dendy, Lewis, those are the guys that will be carrying the ball, but they'll alternate quite a bit with some others as the offensive line. And it's a good one. They are very mobile, although they aren't that big. Second down and 11, let's call it, at the 35-yard line.
And Mitchell is heading
Big opener.
big yardage down to the 20-yard line. And it's Thomas Dendy again who gets the call for the second time. He led the team in rushing last year, and with the injury to the #1 rusher this year, Kent Haygood, 2 weeks ago against NC State.
In handoff, he's the most dangerous man on the option series because if he gets through the line, he's to the safety before anybody can get to him. You have to respect the fullback in the option series. If you don't tackle him first, he's to the safety, and that's exactly what happened.
Bradshaw wide right, Hillary's
20-yard line. And again, now this time it's Quentin Lewis, a halfback on that veer. Good yardage down to near the 12-yard line.
Well, those are not straight veer plays. The quarterback is reverse pivoting and almost going straight back, and the right halfback is actually cutting back to the left side. So it's sort of a misdirected dive, and it's very effective.
Hillary going out on the right side. Eric Poole is flanked on the left side. The backs are split side by side. It's a second and short, and Mitchell is flipping, and this time the back is going to be thrown for a loss by Joe.
Coming. That was Dendy, and he's hit for a pretty good-sized loss. The scrimmage, or the line of scrimmage, was the 11. He's dropped all the way back at the 18. A loss of 7. So from second down at about 1, all of a sudden it's third down at about 8.
Well, a good time for Navy to use a running blitz. They blitz to the strong side of the formation where South Carolina usually runs their option play. They ran right into the play, and it ends up in a 6-yard loss.
Bradshaw goes to the right, Hillary to the left. There's Mitchell over the ball, the junior from Batesburg, South Carolina. Well, they keep it on the ground that time as Dendy carries again, brought down across the 15, well, maybe the 13-yard line.
It's going to be very hard to throw going that direction, John, because of the factor of the wind. That's why you've seen South Carolina keep the ball on the ground. You'll see that all day. They have the veer option offense, but they've expanded that to include a lot of play-action passes and a lot of scrambling by their quarterback, Mike Hold, when he comes in.
4th down and 3, and here's Hagler to attempt a field goal. Let's call it from the 22, a 32-yard attempt. And it is blocked. Ball is picked up and fumbled and goes all the way back to the 38-yard line. The holder, Jim Desmond, number 18, tried to pick it up and do something with it, and he only compounded the problem.
Well, that's what you want to do. If you're a defensive player, keep that ball going towards your goal line. Whatever you do, don't just fall on the ball because it stops there. You're allowed to pick it up. You're allowed to advance it. Keep it going towards your goal line. That's exactly what happened there. The kick is just low, right into the line of scrimmage. You can see it never got up.
Looked like number 78, Eric Rutherford.
Eric Rutherford blocked it. Their captain on defense, their best defensive player. but the kick was very low and just didn't have any altitude to it at all.
Rutherford, a big guy, 6'4", 242. First quarter action, 10:03 to go. We'll be right back. John Miller along with Stan White on Home Team Sports from the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. It's a Navy ball at their own 38-yard line after the block of that field goal attempt by Hagler, and there's a point that Stan wants to bring up about it, which we will momentarily. Here's Gary Tranquil, the Navy coach, hoping his ball club can put something together today. This is Klaus up to the 45, and he fumbled the ball, and South Carolina has recovered at the Navy 48-yard line.
Navy cannot afford these. They really escaped the last time after the last turnover. They were lucky. The wind played a factor in that blocked field goal. You see a lot of long field goals blocked because kickers try to keep a low trajectory to get distance. The same thing when you're kicking into the wind. They try to kick the ball lower. That led to the block kick. But right here, Navy hands it right back to him on a tray.
Hillary comes to the left side. Bradshaw, wide right. Mitchell hands off to Dendy, the first man through. He struggles forward
back up the middle
to the 41-yard line. Van Housen again into the tackle.
And he runs it down.
He seems to be, just about every tackle, at least so far.
This is his first start.
Taylor,
he's filling in for Tom Judge. His first time he gets a chance to play. So he's excited. He's all over the field.
Wade is in there, perhaps bringing a play from the bench. He goes to the right, Hillary to the left.
And Mitchell, he fakes.
Here's the pitch out to Quinton Lewis across the 40. And wrapped up and brought down immediately by Jim Dwyer, linebacker. And that is going to be, I think, a first down. Let's see where they mark the ball. And one of the Southpaw, Lewis, yeah, he's not up yet.
Looked like he took a helmet right into the thigh. Let's watch it again, but a lot of times you end up with those thigh contusions or Charlie horses. See where he gets the helmet. The outside man, let's watch it right here. Right there in the thigh. Right, maybe even in the hip. Could be a hip point. Get that helmet into the area of your pants where the pad is not. You end up with a lot of contusions and injuries.
There's the measurement, and it is a first down to the 38-yard line for South Carolina. Now, the Gamecocks, while not having the same injury problems that have plagued the Naval Academy, are already missing perhaps their best running back, Haygood, Kent Haygood, who's gained 551 yards, and he suffered a broken tibia or a broken leg a couple of weeks ago. So he's already out. Quinton Lewis looks like he's going to be okay, though. First and 10 to the 38-yard line. Here's Dendy, blocking in front of him. 30, 25 to the 22-yard line.
That's been an effective play all year for South Carolina. When you're playing an option team from a defensive standpoint, you hit and hold the line to find out where the ball is. But when teams run sweeps, that works against you. You hit and hold and you can't get your pursuit lanes, you can't get any penetration, which makes this play so effective. As you can see, Navy's players are at the line of scrimmage to stop sweeps and get penetration. But really, they complement each other well. It's the option and the sweep.
Gain of 15, first and 10 to the 23-yard line.
First quarter, no score.
Mitchell,
Alan Mitchell, the quarterback.
Mix up in the backfield. Mitchell scrambles after it and is dropped back at the 42-yard line. Correct that, back at the 37-yard line. Eric Rutherford, the first man through there, and a big mix-up in the backfield. They had a new man, Anthony Smith, in there replacing the injured Quinton Lewis. And what do you think, Stan? What happened?
Well, the backs obviously thought, one back thought he was going the other direction. They just ran into each other. Sometimes the pulling guards do that, not too often the backs, but it results in a big loss. But the backs are interchangeable in South Carolina's offense. They use 4 or 5 backs all the time. That's why not one single back has a lot of yardage.
That's a loss of 14, back to the 37, second down and 24. Mitchell's going to throw. Here comes Van Housen after him. Pass is almost intercepted. Almost picked off by number 44, Eric Fudge, right there. And I think he's a little upset with himself. Maybe he should have had it.
Well, he should have. You know, he has his hands taped up pretty well. And as a linebacker, it's hard to catch the ball a lot of times when you have so much on your hands. We saw him intercept a pass against Notre Dame earlier this year. You can see how deep his drop was, just in the right place, and he should have caught the ball. Those are the type of plays Navy's going to have to come up with for them to win. Just a little out pattern. A good move. He's open. Right there.
Bradshaw was open. Third down, 24 at the 37-yard line.
And
Mitchell being chased. And Rutherford's got him back at the 42-yard line. number 78, Eric Rutherford, who is the man who blocked the field goal attempt, and this time he gets the sack on Mitchell to set up a 4th down situation, 4th down and 28.
As we said, he's their best defensive player. He's the one that gets pressure on the other team, the other quarterback.
Here's the punt. The South Carolina punter is Tom O'Connor. Punting into the wind, he gets the good hang time, and a fair catch is called for and made.
At the 14-yard line. So we'll be back. No score.
By
30 seconds.
Steve Brady, number 45.
That's Rutherford's 6th sack of the year. He leads this team by a good amount. The second man only has 2 sacks, so he's the man that really puts pressure on the quarterback.
It'll be a Navy ball at the 14 after a 28-yard kick. No score. 7:25 to go, first quarter.
Navigational and communications.
Turn those 3 turnovers into scores. I mean, not that they weren't playing very good defense.
On Home Team Sports, exclusive coverage of the Navy South Carolina game from the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. It's a beautiful day, although rather cool, with very strong winds blowing. Navy, with the wind at its back, will take over with very poor field position, and coming after 2 very poor earlier sequences, each resulting in a turnover, 1 on an interception, thrown by that man Bob Mish, and 1 on a fumble. It's Klaus, and a flag is thrown as he gets across the 15 to the 17-yard line.
As we've said before, when he calls the penalty, the man behind the defensive line, it's almost always holding. There's one of Navy's linemen saying, no, it couldn't be me.
Was the tackler on the play. Mike Smith is...
Well, apparently it could be. So, they'll march off this penalty. We've got 7:20 remaining here in the first quarter. No score yet. Navy's defense has been impressive. They've had terrible field possession after turnovers, but they have risen to the occasion each time. South Carolina decided here, let's go with the down. It was just a couple of yards gained in the play to the 16, so it's 2nd and 8. The penalty is refused. Now,
surprising, you could have really put them back inside their own 10-yard line. A defensive player, I like to have them backed up inside the 10. A lot of things can happen from there. Fumble again.
Another fumble near the 19-yard line.
I think Navy may have a break. They may have called him down, but that was a fumble. I think the referees missed that play also.
Navy retains possession.
That was Mike Smith, the sophomore tailback who carried number 26. And the ball is across the 18, short of the 19-yard line. So a 3rd down, and let's call it 6 yards to go. South Carolina makes numerous changes in the defensive side. Wide to the left side goes Ken Hyde. Bottom of your screen there is Weiler. 3rd and 6. Mish, back to pass. He's got Weiler open at the 41, but he overthrew him. 4th and 6. Another punting situation, or actually for Navy, the first punting situation.
We'll watch it here. You see South Carolina's in a double zone defense, which means only 2 deep. If you can get a man down the sideline, they're wide open. That's what happened here. Unfortunately, you assume if you're going with the wind, it's easier to pass, but a lot of times it makes it just as difficult because you overthrow the ball, like right there.
Jerry Dunlap is the lone deep safety, as the punter is Mark Colby. Dunlap fumbles the ball, pounces on it, was hit and fumbled again.
Oh my goodness, another error by the referee. They're missing calls right and left.
Now,
the man never got the ball when he went to fall on it, yet they called him down.
In college football, unlike the professional game, when a man is down, he's down. Nobody has to touch him down.
But you have to have possession of the ball.
Now, if the ball was down, maybe they should have even called a penalty to be consistent with their call. It was hit late, right, after the man was already down. We'll be right back. Here's another look. Jerry Dunlap fumbling that ball, and Stan White claims that the officials blew the ensuing call. Let's take a look. Does Dunlap recover it here or not? The referee blows his whistle there, apparently.
You see the ball? The ball he never had possession of the ball. It should be Navy's ball right there. Calls like that can really mean the difference in a game. We'll never know what significance it's going to have, but the referees have blown several calls this game already.
In the pro game, there would have been no question that it was a fumble. Here's a pass for Hillary, completed at the 20-yard line. He is hit and dropped behind the line. Scrimmage was the 23, but right there was Joe Papetti, number 47, defensive back, and they wrapped him up for a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12.
You may wait to see that play later. That was actually a lateral, a backwards pass. You may wait. They may be setting up a play later on where they throw that pass, and Hill returns and throws another pass. Because if the first one is backwards, it's not a forward pass, but a lateral.
Here's another penalty. And it's declined. They'll take the yardage, so it'll be second down at the 21 and 12 yards to go. What was that penalty?
That was an illegal motion penalty. I didn't see who was in motion.
Was that a good call?
The motion? I didn't see it. It might have been. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one, John.
So the officials are now 2 for 4 and 1 undecided.
But you obviously want to decline the penalty. You get the down plus minus 2 yards.
So you agree with the coaching there anyway.
Obviously.
Stan is really upset with everybody today. Here's the pitch out to Quinton Lewis, and he's hit and dropped. Man who got through there to hit him first was Papetti again, and finally the clamps are applied by Bob Plants, number 72.
Well, Papetti's their rover back and one of their leading tacklers. He really is an inspirational leader for the Naval Academy team, and when he's making plays, their defense usually is playing pretty well.
4-yard gain there for Lewis to the 25. It'll be third down and 9 yards to go.
Situation for Alan Mitchell, who's a 52% passer.
Mitchell, they took away the option and they sack him at the 23-yard line. First man through, the number 85 was Van Hosen, along with Dave Pimpo, number 61.
Again, Joe Papetti was on a safety blitz. Just watch him from the outside. He takes away the pitch, man. You can see him coming at the top of your screen. Yeah. Nobody for the quarterback to pitch to, which means he has to run into all the pursuit.
Here's another punt by Tom O'Connor. Scrimmage, remember, is at 23. Taken at the Navy 49-yard line. A fair catch by Steve Brady. And so, after a kick of 28 yards, it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Naval Academy at its own 49. The best field position of the day for Navy.
And that wasn't a bad punt. We can see from up here, he had hit a nice spiral. It turned over. The wind is just such a factor that he only got 28 yards out of it.
Weiler goes to the left side. Out of the I formation here. The quarterback is Mish. Play action. Completed at the 36-yard line. Completed to number 83, Mark Stevens, the tight end. Chris Major, number 13, brought him down, and that's a Navy 1st and 10, a 15-yard gain.
Well, they faked the counter play out of the eye. It holds the linebackers up. You can see Mark Stevens wide open. The linebackers went up for the run. There's nobody back there to defend on the tight end. That puts Stevens third, tied for third on the all-time list at Naval Academy.
Hollinger wide left, Weiler out to the right side, out of the I formation. Second man through, the tailback, Mike Smith, the sophomore, across the 35, brought down by Paul Vogel, number 44. And let's mark it down to the 32-yard line. So that's a pretty good gain of about 6 yards. Make it 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5.
Well, they're already in field goal range with the wind blowing. That takes another 10 yards off the distance. So they're already in scoring position to go in the lead in this game.
Again, Hollinger will go to the left. Weiler to the right, out of the I formation. Mish, the quarterback, 2nd and 5.
It's second down, 6 to go for a first down.
Long count.
He's got
they're showing the blitz.
Coming.
Yeah.
Behind him,
the audible, he's wide open.
That's Weiler to the 15-yard line and down to the 12-yard line before Major can bring him down. A gain of 20 yards, 1st and 10 for Navy. 3:38 to go in the quarter, and Navy with its first opportunity at scoring.
Well, Mish was able to see the blitz coming. When a quarterback goes up to the line, he looks at the safeties. If they're playing man-to-man, they know it's a blitz, and that's what he saw. Weiler did a quick slant and got away from the man-to-man coverage, puts Navy in a great position to score.
All of a sudden, Mish has found the range with his passing. Here's Weiler in motion. That's Mark Smith. Look at that hole. 5 down to the 1-yard line. He was hit at about the 10, hit it again at the 5, and still managed to get to the 1, and I believe he got a first down. 1st and goal to go it is at the 1-yard line.
Well, again, John, that was the unbalanced line. They had all 3 receivers to one side, which opened up the inside holes as they adjusted to the outside. Smith just makes a good run inside the 1-yard line. Chance to get a touchdown to go ahead.
Mike Smith, number 26, is averaging about 5.5 yards a carry this year. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. No score in the game. Pitch out. They're going with Smith again. Touchdown, Navy! Hold on to your hat. here at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. The Navy defense has staved off a couple of serious South Carolina threats, and now all of a sudden, Navy has shocked them all by taking the lead. It is 6-0, 2:52 remaining in the first quarter. Here is Bob Mish to hold for Solomon, who will attempt the extra point. He's got it. 2 minutes and 52 seconds remain. First quarter. It is Navy 7, South Carolina nothing.
Well, one of the best friends of an underdog is always the elements, and the wind is going to play a major factor in this game. If Navy can sustain the emotions they have right now, we talked about this being the last game for a lot of these seniors. If they can make these plays and sustain that emotion, then they have a chance at a major upset today.
We've got our Tom Davis down on the sideline. Let's go to Tom right now.
Well, John, not only has the Naval Academy taken a lead over South Carolina, but also Notre Dame has taken a lead over Penn State of 7-0. Alan Pinkett has scored on a short touchdown run. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Tom. Nice hat he's got.
Yeah, he looks like he's at the racetrack.
51-yard drive. It took 1:53 to accomplish it. 7-0. Navy is in the lead. South Carolina's had a couple of opportunities to score. A field goal block. And they've had numerous foul-ups that may have had nothing to do with the wind, just sloppy play.
Well, the play has been sloppy on both sides so far. And that, you know what to attribute that to is South Carolina probably is looking forward to Clemson, but they got to get their mind back on this game. We can see in their sideline, they have their whole offense and defense huddled up, trying to figure out what Navy's doing and how to stop them.
Kevin White and Raynard Brown are the deep safeties on the kickoff.
Brown returned 199 yards for a touchdown last week at the opening of the second half.
This is Solomon. That is Brown, and it will go out of the end zone. Well, he just was fooled by the wind there. That one got up with the wind and just kept going.
Well, the ball is traveling faster as the wind takes it than you're usually used to catching the ball. As on the punt, I think that's why the man fumbled the punt. It hit off his shoulder pad. It's coming down at a different angle. It's coming faster. It's hard to handle. We saw it on the punt, and we saw it on the kickoff.
Well, that all goes back to what you said, the big surprise at the very beginning when South Carolina elected to kick off into the wind.
Yeah, they could have received the ball into the wind, but they elected to kick off.
Mitchell, Quinton Lewis, no gain on the play. Number 78, Rutherford was there, as was Dwyer, number 58. Stopped them at the line of scrimmage, second down and 10 yards to go.
And there was really no advantage to do that, but it sure worked out in their advantage when they got the turnover early and good field position, but they haven't been able to do anything with it. If this happens much longer, we're going to see Mike hold real quick.
Out wide to the right is Eric Poole. Bradshaw flanked inside of him. First man through, and he got maybe 3 yards straight up the middle. The ball carried by number 30. That was Raynard Brown. Eric Rutherford brought him down.
Rutherford's having a great game so far. You have to tackle that fullback. You cannot let him get through the line of scrimmage because he's got 10 yards before the next man is able to get to it. The linemen have to stop that fullback, the linemen and the linebackers.
There you see Chris Wade, a senior from Athens, Georgia, number 2 into the lineup. Probably bringing a play in. He goes to the right. Bradshaw to the left. Lewis and Brown, the running backs, behind Mitchell. This is 3rd and 7. Mitchell looking. Pass completed to the tight end, number 89, Corley. He's up near the first down, and I believe he got it across the 30-yard line, brought down by Taylor and Brady.
Well, that was the audible at the line of scrimmage. We heard Joe Morrison say that Mitchell really has the ability to come up and read a defense and make an audible. He calls just a quick slant to the tight end. The flanker clears out, and by the man, Papetti, coming over to make the tackle, just isn't able to get there in time.
And he made a nice little head and shoulder fake there on number 41, Mark Furley, to enable himself to get across the first down area.
Those safeties were a little late on that play.
1st and 10 to the 31-yard line, the left hash mark. Quinton Lewis straight ahead to the 35-yard line. Well, in the tackle was Dwyer, number 58.
We'll see that play a lot today. Time after time, they'll give the ball to the dive fullback or the dive halfback, the first man, because as we said, if he gets through the line of scrimmage, through any gap, he's all the way to the safety man because it gets so quick.
Inside a minute remaining in the first quarter, 51 seconds left. Here's a look there at Jim Dwyer. Now Bradshaw to the right. This is Raynard Brown, and he has got the first down across the 41, close to the 42-yard line before Mark Furley, number 41, brought him down. Raynard Brown, another one of those excellent running backs. As we look at it again, Brown is averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and Stan, that is good enough only for the 4th best per carry average on the team.
Well, they get a lot of mileage out of their backs. They bring them in. As we say, when they get to that line of scrimmage, they really are able to make yardage, and that sweep is a great complement to their option series.
Poole goes to the right and Wade to the left now. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. That is Raynard Brown to the 45-yard line. Brought down by Mike Taylor, number 62. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. So the quarter is ended. It'll be a South Carolina ball, 2nd and 7 at its own 45 when we come back, and then South Carolina will have the wind at its back. And we'll see how Navy can handle that. Right now, Navy with a surprising lead. It is Navy 7, the Gamecocks nothing. Up shortly on Home Team Sports. John Miller, along with Stan White from beautiful Annapolis, Maryland. We are at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium, and a surprising first quarter score. Navy leading South Carolina 7-0. And Bob missed 2 out of 5 for 36 yards. He threw an interception early on, but since then has turned things around, guiding a 51-yard drive for the only score of the game. Navy with 72 yards total offense in the first quarter. South Carolina only 46 yards. The leading ground gainer in the game thus far, Thomas Dendy, 6 carries for 34 yards. There is Alan Mitchell, junior quarterback, the starting quarterback. As you see there, didn't look like he was going to be the starter when things started earlier this year. Mitchell's going to carry. This is his 2nd and 7 from his own 45, and he's out to midfield and across midfield. Bob Plants, number 72, brought him down.
Well, it's another case of him audibling away from a blitz. The audible went to the option to the weak side instead of the strong side.
Walker to the 49 of Navy. A gain of 6, 3rd down and a yard to go. Poole comes in and Wade goes out. Poole will go to the left, Bradshaw to the right. The running backs, Raynard Brown and Quinton Lewis behind Mitchell. 3rd down and 1. This is Brown. A flag is down. He got a yard to the 48, and even then it may not be enough for a first down. As Jim Dwyer hit him first, Rutherford also got in the tackle. Let's see what the flag is first.
Probably in motion, that's what it is. One of the backs went in motion before the snap. The tight end moved, you may have seen on your screen, but as long as he doesn't cross the line, he's fine. A tight end can shift. If an interior lineman now would move, it would be an automatic penalty once he gets into his stance.
Now, I believe that by maybe half the length of a football or more, they got the first down there if they let the play stand. So they'll take the yardage without question to put it back to the 46-yard line. So now it'll be 3rd down and 6 yards to go.
That's another big mistake by South Carolina. 3rd and half a yard. Now it's 3rd and close to 6. It really is a much tougher situation. They got to get going. They got to get some points on the board. They got to get their offense rolling. They're averaging over 34 points a game.
Brown and Lewis again, the running backs. 3rd and 6. Completed. That is Lewis. He may go to the 20-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds by Furley, number 41. A big play, a gain of 34 yards. 1st and 10, South Carolina.
Just the fullback coming into the line and checking over. Everybody had run away from him. They roll one way and watch him come right through the line. He stops, comes out, makes a great one-handed catch, but the linebackers had over-pursued when the quarterback rolled out. There was nobody over there. He just went down the sideline. Luckily, they were able to Furley was able to catch him and knock him out of bounds.
Mark it to the 19, a gain of 35 yards in a play. Here's Quinton Lewis now on the ground to the 15, and he's gang tackled there for a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. Quinton Lewis, he's a 6-foot senior out of Midway, Georgia. For the season, he's gained 409 yards on the ground, 6.4 per carry. And Lewis also has 7 receptions coming into the game for an average of only 9 yards. So that is his longest pass reception of the season, or his longest gain on a pass reception. Ira Hillary back in the lineup. He's out wide to the right. He's the only wide out. Double tight ends. Brown is clobbered at the line of scrimmage. You saw him hit and bounce backward. No gain in the play. It'll be 3rd and 6 at the 15-yard line.
Well, Navy is calling blitzes at the opportune moments. They're hitting the plays right on the head with their blitzes. Again, a safety blitz right there, but they had the linebacker fill in the inside gap and ran right into the fullback.
They're going to call it a half-yard gain on his forward progress, so we'll call it to the 14 and make it 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
And Navy seems to be blitzing on 2nd down and 5 or less yards to go. They know it's going to be a running play. They've been throwing it for loss twice now.
Mitchell back to pass, looking for Hillary. Goes to the short man. Lewis open to the 10, the 5. And he is upended out of bounds by number 45, Steve Brady. And they're going to mark it at the 1. That's good enough for a 1st down. So again, he goes to that fullback out of the backfield.
That's twice now. The first time he ran over and checked over to the other direction. This one he just goes down the sideline and nobody takes him coming out of the backfield. Somebody must have blown the coverage. You don't let a back come out completely free like that.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line. 7-0. Navy leading. 12.5 to go. First half. Brown and Lewis in the backfield. This is Quinton Lewis hit behind the line. Struggles forward. Maybe back to the original line, maybe not. Dwyer, number 58, in there. As you see, also, there's number 78, Rutherford, getting up off the tackle. They're going to mark it at the 2, a loss of 1. 2nd down and goal.
Another good blitz by the linebacker. You see him filling the hole right here.
And
hits him in the backfield. Down to the goal line, you're going to get blitzes on every down. You can count on that. So if the linebackers fill the right gaps, you come up with big plays. If they don't, the other team usually scores.
Double tight ends. Poole, the only wide receiver. It's touchdown. Touchdown, South Carolina.
That's what I thought they were going to do in 1st down. As you saw, there was nobody over the center. It looked like he could almost walked in the end zone on the 1st down play. Navy didn't make any changes and left it open. And they saw it in the booth and signaled down, and he just snuck it into the end zone.
Mitchell is not averse to carrying the ball. He's had 86 rushing attempts for the year, gaining 289 yards, and that's his 4th touchdown. The kick by Hagler is good, and so with 11 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter, it is now Navy 7, South Carolina 7. And we'll see if Navy is able to respond in kind, going against the wind when we return on Home Team Sports.
Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, together with John Miller and Stan White. This is Tom Davis welcoming you back. We're at South Carolina Navy tied at 7 in the 1st quarter. Boston College hoping to go to the Cotton Bowl or possibly also to the Fiesta Bowl has a 7-0 lead over Syracuse, and Ohio State hoping to lock up a Rose Bowl bid has a 7-0 lead over Michigan. Let's go back upstairs for more play-by-play with John and Stan.
Many thanks to our man in the dapper-looking hat, Tom Davis. Deep safeties for Navy. On the left side of your screen is Vernon Wallace, and the right side is Rich Klaus. Here's the kickoff by Scott Hagler. Wallace about 4 yards deep, and wisely he downs it. It'll be a Navy ball. 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. That last drive by South Carolina, that's the kind of ball they are capable of playing. They went 80 yards in 13 plays, a drive that consumed 5.5 minutes of time off the clock. So now Navy will see what it can do against the wind. Mike Ray comes out wide to the left. Weiler is split wide right. And we've got some jumping around there. Number 56, Rich Coombs, offensive tackle, jumped off for Navy.
Against the mids, it looks like dead ball. Offense.
Well, Navy's got to be careful now. You know they need to make a 1st down or 2 to get out and give their punter some room. As we saw, South Carolina's punter got off a pretty good punt into the wind and only went 28 yards. You'll see some punts today, probably less than 20 yards into this wind.
The wind is 20, 25 miles per hour.
15 for the mids.
Now, Mish is talking to one of the officials.
Well, South Carolina's players are probably yelling out some of their own calls. They shift a lot. They move around a lot on defense. It may be drawing, may be offside, and that's what the quarterback's talking about. He's got to protect his lineman. Mike Smith, the fullback. And he's in there with Chuck Smith.
Michael Smith getting the call. And
Safe to say that Smith has it. That's Mike Smith. Nice run to the 29-yard line. The sophomore from Ironton, Ohio. 5'8", 175. Major finally brought him down. That's a gain of 14 yards. It'll be second down and 1.
Again, just an off-tackle play. Finds a hole. The linebacker, Esau Vogel, overrun the play. Linebackers have to stay behind the running back a half a step because they're always looking to cut back on these plays.
One man in the backfield now. They've got Mike Smith at a wing, and he goes in motion. This is Chuck Smith, and he got the first down to the 32-yard line. Brought down by Frank White, and mark it at the 32, a gain of 3. First and 10.
They're making your job easy today, John, having two Smiths in the backfield.
Say Smith's got it, and I know I'm safe. All right, Hine goes out, and Mike Ray comes in, flanker back.
Coach Gary Tranquil really was so optimistic before the season began.
Weiler to the right side. Ray to the left, out of the I formation now. Quarterback is Mish. He's being chased. Almost caught by number 83. That's Mark Stevens, tight end, but off his fingertips.
Again, you see it's a fake counter play. He's being chased from behind, doesn't even see him. Luckily, there was no hit from behind that could have caused a fumble. But you can see that ball is not a tight spiral into the wind. It just floats around like a knuckleball, and it's tough to catch.
Frank Wright, number 90, the big defensive tackle, the man chasing him.
Defensive backfield of South Carolina.
Now Hine will go to the left, Weiler to the right.
So quick and fast.
A backfield of Smith and Smith.
It could be picked off. It's second down. Hine is in there now.
Second and 10 at the 32-yard line.
And it's a hand.
This is Mike Smith, and he falls over the center, number 50, Doug Rhodes. But no gain.
Looks like they had a little room to run also if he could have got by his own lineman. They were in a blitz, South Carolina. It looked like they had opened a hole in that blitz. If he could have gotten through it, he'd have had good yardage.
Third and 10, and now South Carolina makes numerous defensive changes. Hine will go to the right, as will Weiler. He's also on wide right. They shift into the T.
On the Navy receiver.
Third and 10.
Now Hine in motion.
Hine is in motion.
Going back, pretty heavy rush over the middle. It's
completed and dropped by Weiler, who recovered. I think Navy recovered it at the 40.
They're going to be short of a first down, though, by fumbling the ball.
If he'd held on to it, I think he would have gotten it.
Well, he would have. He was already headed past the marker, but he forgot one thing, the ball. You can see both receivers are coming across the field, one right behind the other. Hits Weiler in the short zone.
Solomon is the punter. And a fair catch is called for, and a sliding catch is made by number 29, Jerry Dunlap, who had fumbled one earlier. And that kick to the 32-yard line, call it a 28-yard kick, but no return. So both of the punts into the wind have gone only 28 yards. 7-7, 9:44 remaining second quarter. We'll be coming right back.
They played in Japan last night in Tokyo.
We've got live football for you this afternoon here in Annapolis, but tonight Home Team Sports has it all, starting at 10:30 with racing from Laurel. This is where you can get all the results from Laurel. Then at 11:30, it's the same day exclusive coverage of the Maryland versus Clemson game being played up at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. That's all right here on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. This is John Miller along with Stan White. We've got a 7-7 tie. Second quarter, Mike Holt, number 7, is in at quarterback for South Carolina. And he has nobody to throw it to, and Rutherford wraps him up at the 20-yard line. A loss of 12 on the play.
Well, this is Eric Rutherford's last game in the Naval Academy Stadium, and he sure is making the most of it. That's his second sack today. Numerous other big plays on defense. They had some people open here, but Holt didn't see him as Holt comes in for his first snap.
welcome to the action to Mike Hold. And Rutherford gave him a personal greeting. Hold with a better arm, according to Joe Morrison, than Alan Mitchell.
Well, he likes to scramble around a lot and make plays. That time he should have thrown it rather than scramble.
Hold hands it off, number 49, Anthony Smith, the sophomore, and that hole was closed up in a hurry. From Dick McFarland, middle guard, was the first man there. They're going to mark it at the 23-yard line. Gain of 3. Third down and 19 yards to go. They got to get all the way up to the 42 to get a first down. 7-7 ties. Some of the midshipmen here. Dendy and Smith are the running backs. Third 19. Again, Hold is going to scramble. Here comes Rutherford. He's got him again. Back at the 17-yard line. 6-yard loss, the third sack of the day for number 78, Rutherford. It'll be fourth down coming up. Fourth down and 25 yards to go. A punting situation.
Eric Rutherford's last game, one he's going to remember for the rest of his life. He's making the most of this last opportunity in front of his Naval Academy fans.
Mike Smith and Steve Brady are the deep safeties, standing back at their own 40-yard line. Here's the punt. It's a low one by O'Connor, but he gets a nice bounce. Brady to the 50, spun down at the 47-yard line by number 92, George Hyder. A good return, however, a punt that will measure 43 yards, but a return of 12 yards to the South Carolina 48-yard line. So here it is with Navy going into the wind, and yet it's Navy getting the good field position. 7:36 to go, first half. It's 7-7 here in Annapolis.
Here in Annapolis at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. It's South Carolina 7, the Midshipmen 7, with about 7.5 minutes left to play in the first half. This is Tom Davis together with John Miller and Stan White. Maryland has taken a 7-0 lead over Clemson at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Alvin Blount with 55 yards, including a 7-yard touchdown, all during the first quarter. The final 7.5 minutes of the first half. Let's go back upstairs to John and Stan.
All right, thank you, Tom. Ken Hine to the right side for Navy. First and 10 at the South Carolina 48-yard line. This is Klaus, number 23, just back in there to the 45-yard line. Gain of 3. Klaus is back in there replacing Mike Smith. Danny Miller, number 99, linebacker. Help to bring him down. Give him 3 yards. Second down and 7 for Navy. Stan, if you're Navy, do you feel now that, hey, we can play with these guys?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. A lot of people underestimate emotions in this game. Football is a game of emotions. This being their last game in front of this crowd, there's a lot of people out there that are really intense.
Mish back to pass. Throws the safety valve that is dropped. Number 83, Mark Stevens, a tight end. I say he dropped it. The ball was just not there.
Well, that was the tight end screen. You roll one way, the tight end sets up to block, falls behind his offensive lineman. He just had too much pressure and had to throw off falling backwards. Was able to get enough on it to get the ball to the tight end. It looked like it was well covered anyhow.
Mike Ray comes in. Ken Hine goes out as you look at some of the crowd. Trying to stay warm today in a very chilly day. The winds from 20 and gusting to 27 miles per hour. Ray to the left. Weiler, Ray to the right, rather. Top of your screen. Weiler in close to the left. Mish at a throw. Completed to Weiler. 35 has got the first down and down to the 32-yard line. That one worked beautifully. Weiler just right over the middle.
Well, they're playing a lot of man-to-man defense. Clemson's
behind.
South Carolina plays a lot of man-to-man. They think their corners can cover. But right there, he gets picked off by the referee. If you notice right there, he ran right down the line. The referee picked the defensive player from South Carolina.
Weiler, a senior from Annandale, Virginia. 12-yard gain to the 33. First and 10 in motion. is Hine. It's Klaus to the 30-yard line and bunched up there. Klaus, the tailback.
Missed the hole in that play. If he'd have ran outside towards the tackle where he was supposed to, there was a big hole. He just cut back too quick.
Klaus, for the season, the leading ground gainer, 415 yards coming into the game, but only a 3.8 per carry average for Navy. Now they've got the ends in tight. Hine sort of a wing left, Weiler split left, and Hine goes in motion. This is 2nd down and 7. And Smith dropped it in the backfield. South Carolina pounces upon it just in case it was a lateral rather than a pass, but it's an incompleted pass. And it will be 3rd down and 7 at the 30-yard line.
You always fall in that ball from a defensive standpoint. You never know when the referees are going to make a wrong call or maybe even a lateral.
If you're on the defensive team and you see a loose ball, is there a signal that something that everybody shouts to alert everybody else?
No, it's just drilled into you in practice. If you don't do it in practice, they get on you. They make it second nature to fall on any ball behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 7 at the 30-yard line. They're showing the blitz. But they drop back. Here's the pass by Mish, completed to the 25. That is Mike Smith, driven out of bounds at the 23, and I think he may have gotten it. It's very close. Line of scrimmage originally had been the 33, so he's right down near where he had to be. Here's a look now.
Well, he's just a secondary receiver out in the flat. Mike Smith, nobody's open deep. He's able to, he takes a good hit by Major there, which causes the measurement to see if there's a 1st down.
They're going to bring it all the way over from one sideline to the other.
That was just a safety valve to back out in the flat, usually just to draw one of the linebackers out there so they can open up the zones. The linebacker didn't go, covered the deeper man, which left him open, but that's who you want to throw to, the sideline, come up, make the tackle.
That's the way I would have put it.
In front of the Navy bench, practically the whole team on the bench is right up there watching this one.
And he got it. 1st and 10 Navy at the South Carolina 23-yard line. 5 minutes and 43 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. You've got a 7-7 tie, but Navy is on the move. The Middies have acquitted themselves awfully well thus far. Shaky early in the game. Their first two possessions resulted in turnovers, but since then, they've started to put it together. Hine to the right, Weiler to the left. Smith and Smith in the backfield behind Mish. 1st and 10.
Hine is flanked right. Mish is keeping, and
tight end's open.
Mish is going to carry. And steps out of bounds near the 15-yard line. They're going to mark it right at the 15. So he got 8 yards in the play. You say the tight end was open. As it turns out, he carries for 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2 at the 15.
Mish was just a little slow setting up. Watch right here. You can see the tight end over the middle. See if you can see Mark Stevens over the middle. You can't see him here, but he's a little slow looking. He looked to the outside first.
You just saw Stevens there for a moment.
By the time he looked back inside, it was too late to throw it. So it was such a good fake. He was free down the sideline and took the 8 yards.
2nd and 2.5, call it. That's Hine in motion.
And Mish hands off to...
This is Mike Smith, close to the 1st down. Down near the 13-yard line. James Sumter, number 47, defensive end, brought him down. We'll see where they mark it. We may have to have another measurement. We've got an official's timeout to stop the clock.
This is a really important drive for Navy from one standpoint. They're using up a lot of the clock. They're taking away the wind advantage that South Carolina has in the 2nd quarter. By keeping the ball, it keeps South Carolina's offense off the field and really negates the quarter that they have with the wind.
So, well, that man's going to get a close-up look at it. Looks like he's on the bridge of a destroyer. What's that on the horizon? Is that ours or theirs? Well, they stretched the chains out. They're a little bit short. Inches to go. 3rd down and inches. Now, if you had 3rd down and that little to go, Stan, would you just drive it up the middle and get it, or would you make a bid for a touchdown here, knowing you had another shot at it?
At this point, I think I'd drive up the middle and take the sure 1st down. But Navy has had a lot of problems. They don't want to take any chances here. They want to keep the ball away from South Carolina.
Well, they brought in an extra tight end now. Number 80, John Sniffen, a sophomore from Potomac, Maryland, has come in. He and Stevens, the tight ends.
It's not a bad call in this situation. Sometimes you go for play action, go on it for 4th down. They They got to have enough success to go for it fourth down.
First down, Mish took it himself down to the 11-yard line to get a couple of yards. First down with plenty to spare. Carl Hill, number 85, brought him down. And it's a first down at the 11-yard line.
If it was going to be that easy, I'm sure they'd have tried a play-action play, and they'd have had enough confidence to come back and make it look that simple. The quarterback just fell down forwards and got 2 yards.
He's about 2 yards tall, and that's what he did.
Nobody there.
The quarterback collapsed.
Navy's got the first down, 11-yard line.
First and 10 of the 11-yard line. Michigan to throw. The flags are thrown, however, and play is stopped.
I think we have a penalty on Navy. I think the ball was not snapped by the center when it was expected to be snapped. The players all moved, but the ball didn't come up till a half a count late.
Well, there it is, illegal procedure. Incidentally, South Carolina is averaging about 450 yards a game total offense so far in the first half with 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. South Carolina with 97 yards total. Navy with 133.
Illegal procedure is
Navy sure is taking advantage of the situation here by holding the ball.
But they need to score a TD here. They've put a good drive together. Now they got first and 15 at the 16-yard line. Hine flanked inside of Weiler out to the left. Hine goes in motion.
Weiler's on the left side. Mish the quarterback, and he hands off.
Mike Smith. He may have fumbled the way they chased after him. He's down at the 15-yard line after a gain of 1. Oh, he held on to it. Paul Vogel, number 44, the first man to hit him. Well, they, I guess Stan hoped to find them looking for a pass there, but South Carolina didn't buy it.
No, they sure didn't. A lot of times you'll think there's a fumble because you see all of South Carolina's players rushing towards the pile. That's just the way they play. That's that fire ant theory. Until the ball's spotted for the next play, they're going to keep running around that pile.
In other words, to be a fire ant, you have to look like a fire ant.
You got to keep moving.
All right, second down at 14 at the 15-yard line. That's Hine in motion again. Mish, hard rush. Here's Hine, he's wide open. Not Hine, that's Weiler. Touchdown. Touchdown, Navy. And the midshipmen are heading out to do some push-ups, which they do after a touchdown.
We've seen that play over and over. When South Carolina goes into the blitz, Naval Academy's just running Weiler straight across the field, running away from his man. His defensive player again got picked on that play, and he just walked into the end zone. We'll see it on the replay.
Todd Solomon out of the hold of Mish to attempt the point after. He's got it. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half, and Navy has gone back ahead, and this time they move into the teeth of that strong breeze, and they score. And they score in the air.
Coming over the middle, his man gets picked. As you can see, he ran into 2 other defensive players and an offensive player, and Weiler walks into the end zone. That's the danger of man-to-man defense. If you get picked, there's nobody else there to make the play.
So 48 yards and 11 carries, and push-ups for the midshipmen. It's a funny way to celebrate. 14-7. We'll be right back. John Miller and Stan White from the Navy Marine Corps Stadium, and the midshipmen have concluded their push-ups. After each of the Navy touchdowns, a whole stream of the midshipmen head out of the field, and they start doing push-ups.
Well, they're going to stick right with the team, and they're expending energy and getting some out of it. They're going to go out there and expend some of their own.
That's what Stan and I do during the breaks. We don't do push-ups, we do sit-ups. 40 sit-ups for every commercial. Here we go now. Kicking off for the Naval Academy will be Todd Solomon. The deep safeties, number 30, Raynard Brown, and number 6, Kevin White. Solomon kicking into the wind. Even so, White and Brown are back at their goal line. A low knuckleball kind of a kick taken by the short man, number 49, that is Anthony Smith. And he gets up near the 30-yard line. The scoring drive, it came after they got excellent field position on a fairly poor punt. And the final play, that 14-yard touchdown pass to Weiler from Mish. And Mish has certainly turned it around in a hurry. He's looked awfully good. That's only his second touchdown pass of the season.
Well, he hadn't had much opportunity to play until Byrne was hurt. Byrne was doing a great job.
It's Hold at quarterback again, number 7, Mike Holder Jr. from Tempe, Arizona. He's in trouble again. Still looking, and it is intercepted. Navy intercepts at the 32-yard line.
That was Mike Taylor, number 62. Navy ball, 1st and 10 at the Carolina 32. And Hold should have done just that on that play, perhaps.
He should have held the ball. It's an ill-advised throw. He's made a lot of big plays doing things like this, but he throws late. The linebacker makes a great play, steps in there, keeps. All you need is 1 foot in bounds in college. In fact, the referee ran right into him and kept him in bounds.
Well, they're going to mark it at the 34-yard line, so that's where Navy takes over. 1st and 10, leading already 14-7. 3:35 to go. Hine comes in motion. Pitch out. This is Mike Smith, and he's hog-tied at the 30-yard line. Major was there. Gain of 4 yards to the 30. 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Incidentally, Stan, we've done some research. And the freshmen here at Navy, the freshmen are called the plebes. They are required to do push-ups after all touchdowns.
Well, it's just the freshmen that have to do it, huh? Just the younger guys.
All right. It'll be 2nd down and 6 at the 30-yard line. Smith and Smith in the backfield. Back to Mish. That time, he had a man wide open, number 81, Kent Hine, the senior flanker back from Richmond, Virginia.
He was wide open. Hine broke his arm earlier in the year. It's just this is the first start he's had since coming back. He's played it, but he's yet to catch a pass since he's returned from the broken arm. It may be affecting him. He tried to catch the ball cradle in rather than use his hands.
Here the midshipman singing. Tony Hollinger is in there now. He's out to the right. Weiler to the left. This is 3rd down and 6. Big play at the 30-yard line. Here they come with the blitz. Intercepted. At the 30-yard line, it was hit, was Mish, as he threw the ball. And it was picked off by number 85. That is Carl Hill, the linebacker. 3rd turnover of the day for Navy. And we mentioned that a hold perhaps should have held. And just as he was hit, Mish.
Well, you'll see he gets hit as he's throwing the ball here. South Carolina's not going to change. They're going to keep blitzing. He's hit by 2 men. The ball just pops up, and Carl Hill is alert enough to come up with the interception.
Glenn Woodley, number 94, appeared to be the first man to hit him. Now Alan Mitchell is back in at quarterback, number 11. 1st and 10 for Carolina at its own, let's call it the 29-yard line. Mitchell wants to throw. Completed to Hillary at the 42. And he's up to the 45-yard line. Wallace and Taylor there to bring him down. Going to give him across the 45 to the 46, a gain of 17.
Well, Joe Papetti thought he had an interception. He's waiting for the ball to come to him, and Hillary actually cuts in front of him to catch the ball. You can't wait on the ball as a defensive player. You got to cut in front and make it.
Poole out to the left.
See right there.
To the right.
Papetti thought he had it. The man cut in front of him.
Quick opener. This is Quentin Lewis across the 50 and down to the 47-yard line of Navy. Well, this could be a big turnaround because all of a sudden it looked like here was Navy with a chance to maybe make it 21-7, and instead they give it right back, and now South Carolina is on the move. Perhaps that was the key interchange of this ball game. Only time will tell, but we'll have to keep it in mind.
Good chance of it. Something seems to have woken up South Carolina, but they have to be able to get some points out of it.
Mitchell and the fumble. I believe that Quentin Lewis was able to jump on it to recover for South Carolina, but let's see.
They did. They got it back. Again, Eric Rutherford got through, was able to beat his man and grab the quarterback as he was trying to make the pitch.
Dave Pimple finally made the tackle on the play. Quentin Lewis did come out of there with it.
Watch Rutherford right there. He has the quarterback, and Mitchell tries to pitch anyhow, ill-advised. Right there, looks like he got it back. I think Pimpo just was able to out-muscle him in the pile-up.
They mark it back to the 47-yard line. That's a loss in the play of some 5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 9 yards to go, and we've got a timeout taken
by South Carolina. They want to talk it over. They realize they have to get going. They have people here from the Orange Bowl. They're talking about national championships, and right now they better just start worrying about beating the Naval Academy.
Trailing Navy 14-7 with 1:38 remaining here in the first half. Now, South Carolina has defeated some name teams such as Georgia, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, Florida State, perhaps
That was their most impressive victory, coming just last week, 38-26 against Florida State.
7 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. A great defensive game, but Morrison said he wasn't happy with his offense last week. His defense kept in the game. They really need to get their offense rolling today, too.
Let's go down to Tom Davis.
Well, John, there's a big game going on up at Baltimore Memorial Stadium with Maryland on top of Clemson, now 7-0 with a game in the second quarter of play as Alvin Blunt scored on a 7-yard TD run. He had 55 yards rushing during the first quarter. And also at halftime now, it's Ohio State 7-0 over Michigan. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Tom. 3rd and 9. Here's Mitchell. He's got time. Completed to Corley, the tight end, and he is dropped, but he got the first down across the 45 to the 44-yard line.
We're going to have to measure, John. It's real close, and when they move it back there, I think he may be a little short.
Well, I think you're right. It is right near where the chain is on the other side of the field. They are going to bring it across. He was driven backward there by number 47, Papetti, and that may have done the job. We'll see.
Well, Papetti stayed back and covered the man in the deeper zone. He has to be able to be set a little bit better to come up just a fraction quicker to stop that man from getting that close to the first down.
Here's the stretch, and he got it. Not by much.
You don't have to get it by much. Anything counts. You know, but you can't give up a first down by letting him throw the ball in front of you. You have to take away the deeper pass, but you got to be ready to come up. Either that or you got to play man-to-man defense if you can't play the zone.
1:22 to go. Chris Wade is in there now. He comes to the right, Hillary to the left. The running backs are Dendy and Lewis behind Mitchell. The 44-yard line. Pitch out to Lewis. A fumble, and Navy has recovered. Joe Papetti, number 47, recovers. And Navy has stopped South Carolina by virtue of a turnover.
Well, when you have the option offense, you're always susceptible to a lot of fumbles. Again, I don't know if it's a bad pitch or another bad pitch. The ball hits the ground, bounces right to Papetti. South Carolina had 36 fumbles going into this game. They've had at least 2 more today. It's really the tough part about the option offense is you got a lot of exchanges, which leads to a lot of fumbles.
They had lost 20 of those 36 coming in. That's a high figure, too. That is Klaus, number 23, hit behind the line. And with only a minute remaining in the first half, Stan, what do you figure here? They're just going to, well, we've got an injury. South Carolina player number 53, Fitzgerald Davis, the defensive tackle, is down. They're out to have a look. That play, by the way, no gain at the 47, 2nd down and 10. What I want to ask you is, if you're Navy, do you just hold on to it here? You don't risk anything, or do you let loose with one?
Oh, no, I let loose, especially when you got the ball up near midfield.
Well, I know you'd let loose, but if you were Navy...
If I was Navy, I'd let loose. What do they got to lose? I mean, they got a chance to pull their program back up. They got a chance to really put something in the bank for the rest of this year and next year. If you just sit on the ball, you can't give a team like South Carolina a chance to stay in the game. I mean, they score too many points. They get too many yards. You know they're a good team. They're going to bounce out of it sooner or later. You got to take advantage of every situation. They're up at midfield. Even if they throw 2 incomplete passes, they can punt. And South Carolina has a long way to go to get any type of score. I'd go for it right now.
It'll be 2nd and 10 when you get a look at some of the Navy players. Mish, by the way, the quarterback, 6 out of 13 for 89 yards with 2 interceptions. His running backs, Klaus is 7 carries, 21 yards. Mike Smith, 6 carries, 31 yards. Weiler has been his leading receiver, 4 receptions, 67 yards. Mish to Klaus, driven out of bounds at the 44. They lost 3 yards on that play as Chris Major, number 13, made the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 13 with 40 seconds remaining. Now, 3rd and 13 with 40. What do you do?
Well, it's a lot tougher now. Even if you complete the ball, there's no assurance that you're going to be able to get in field goal range, because field goal range is 10 yards further going this direction because of the wind factor. That was a pass, but that's about as safe as pass you can get. I wouldn't really call that going for it. Now you may want to play a little bit safer, but you don't want to give South Carolina an opportunity here.
He's being chased. They got him back at the 34-yard line. Number 47, James Sumter, defensive end, got him. The sack, and now they have gone backwards some 13 yards since they initially got hold of it. It'll be 4th down and 23, and this really is good news for South Carolina. With the man punting into the wind, they've got a chance for some very good field position here.
Well, they do, because they're going to punt into the wind. That's the last thing they wanted to do there, was get a sack on that play. And South Carolina was celebrating so much that they forgot to call timeout, and another 5 or 6 seconds ran off the clock.
Good blocking now, good block.
There you hear the sideline chatter. 27 seconds remain. Jerry Dunlap is the lone deep safety. You see him there, number 29. Dunlap is averaging 8 yards per return this year. His longest return, 21 yards. We haven't seen a return when a punt has gone into the wind. Punts have not gone very far, but they've gone very high, and the coverage has always been good.
You don't get very many returns when you punt into the wind. You get a lot of long returns when you're punting with the wind. I don't know if the Navy thought they were going to fool them by not sending the punt team out there. On 4th and 20.
Mark Colby will do the punting. Colby averaging 38.3 yards per punt.
10 men up to block it.
They're going after it. Here they come. He got it away. Kicks it low. And he gets a good bounce, and they're going to let it roll. And roll all the way back to the 23-yard line. Against the wind, he ends up with a 44-yard kick. No return. 16 seconds left in the half.
They got 20 yards on the roll at that point. And what they did, they went for the block for it, and they just said, listen, we're not going to get a return because we have nobody to block for you once you catch the ball, so just let it hit the ground and roll if there's any question.
Greg Schildmeyer, number 87, a man who finally downed it. And Hold, who is the better passer of the two South Carolina quarterbacks, comes in.
I don't think they'll risk anything either at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a sneak.
They got Bradshaw and Hillary out to the left side, and they've got Poole out to the right side.
They're going for it.
That's Dendy. Still up and down finally at the 40-yard line. 5 seconds. Stopped at 4 seconds as they will take a timeout. So he got some 17 yards there, Furley on the tackle.
Semi-safe play, a middle screen. You watch the fullback just set up and come through the middle on a screen pass. Just a good run by Dendy, getting your men into the open field where they can make something happen. But again, a long way to go.
Well, they've got 60 yards to go, and they got 4 seconds to try and get there. As you see, the scoreboard here at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. This was the site during the summer of some of the Olympic soccer games during the 1984 Summer Olympics. There's the Olympic logo, which is on a water tower right nearby.
That's the only backdrop to when they let the ball bounce, is they lost another 10 seconds off the clock. If they had caught the ball, they'd have gained 15 yards in that extra 10 seconds. They may be even close to field goal range with the wind behind them.
You think maybe he's got instructions there, should the ball be bouncing, just to let it go, not to fumble it?
Oh, yeah, you know once the ball hits the ground to leave it go in that situation.
Last play of the half, Hold looking. He's got a lot of men going deep. He's still up. He lets loose. It is intercepted and dropped. So the half is over. Number 85, Chad Van Housen, was the man there. And so a surprising half all around the nation. When this score is announced at College Football Stadium, some eyebrows will be raised as the second-ranked Gamecocks of South Carolina are trailing the unranked, unheralded, and decimated Naval Academy 14-7. Let's go downstairs now to Tom Davis.
Well, John, this is Eric Rutherford, who's played some exceptional defense, a couple of sacks today. Navy's really fired up.
Sir, it's our last game. It's the last game for most of the seniors. We're not going to play ball again. And, oftentimes play as number 2 ranked team in the country. And, we have nothing to lose, nothing at all. It's like another season for us. If we can win this, this would be great.
What about the atmosphere out there? I mean, do you think South Carolina came to play this game today or not?
No, they're not coming to play, and they're playing for it right now. I don't know. They're going to be more fired up in the second half because they're a national power. But if they play the way they play right now, we're going to win.
Eric Rutherford, I know you want to go to the locker room. Thank you. Let's go back upstairs to John Miller and Stan White.
Thanks, Tom, and many thanks to Eric Rutherford. Rutherford A fellow that we knew coming in was somebody to watch, a 6'4" tall senior from Boulder, Colorado, and he's been the man. Alan Mitchell and Mike Gold may have thought for a while that he was part of their own backfield. He's been in there so much. 3 sacks already for him in the first half. So, halftime, 14-7, Navy leading South Carolina. Our halftime program still to come. Stay with us on Home Team Sports. Moments away from the start of the second half at Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland, exclusively on Home Team Sports. Navy kicking off, and Navy leading 14-7. South Carolina in this third quarter will once again be going into the teeth of that bitter wind, which is from 20 miles per hour and sometimes gusting near 30 miles per hour. First half statistics very close, and you see there that the total yards is very close, but look at South Carolina's rushing. 38 yards in 29 carries. They have been averaging about 5 yards a carry all season. Today, just barely better than 1 yard per carry.
Well, the sacks have something to do with that, John. They're taking off the rushing, but Navy's done a fine job on defense.
That's Raynard Brown on the left, Kevin White on the right, the deep safeties. Solomon's kickoff. Brown into the corner of the end zone, and he caught it out of bounds, so a touchback. It will be 1st and 10 for the Gamecocks at their own 20. And in the first half, Stan, South Carolina in that first quarter when they went against the wind had absolutely no success at all.
And that's including 2 turnovers that Navy had with the wind. They had a great field position. They got nothing out of it.
Excellent point. They had some great opportunities. And even so, were unable to do anything with them.
That's why they're down right now. They wasted opportunities.
Mitchell is the quarterback. Dendy carries up to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. Dendy in the first half, the leading ball carrier on the ground for South Carolina. 6 carries, 33 yards. Lewis, number 9, had 9 carries, 26 yards. It's Dendy, number 31. This is Quinton Lewis, and he's up to the 28-yard line. Gain of 3. 3rd down and 2. Bob Plants, number 72 on the tackle. The 2 quarterbacks, Mitchell and Hold, combined going 6 of 9 with 1 interception for 97 yards. See there, Bradshaw checks in with a play from the bench. Hillary to the right side. Bradshaw, a wing right.
Unbalanced line.
This is Dendy, and he is stopped short of the first down. It was a 3rd and 2 play, and he's hit and dropped at the 29-yard line. Chad Benhausen, number 85, into the tackle.
Benhausen's having a great day for his first start. South Carolina lined up in an unbalanced line, tried to outflank Navy. Navy just came up with a great play to offset the strategy of South Carolina.
O'Connor punting. Benhausen, a defensive end, just a sophomore, 6'5", 212, out of Fridley, Minnesota. The kicker is O'Connor. Fair catch is called for and made at the 34-yard line by Steve Brady, number 45. So a pretty good kick there against the wind of 37 yards and no return.
Yeah, not bad at all. That's bad. That's good in any circumstance. Anything over 35 with no return. A net of 37. I figure you won that as a special team.
Bob Mish at quarterback. He brings his team out. Mish 7 for 15, 2 interceptions, 73 yards. Hine is in motion. That is Klaus to the 47-yard line. Number 21, Rick Raboon, the defensive back, brought him down. Klaus in the first half, 5 carries for 20 yards.
Again, they just start off with a power play up the middle. A good cut by Klaus. Hits the hole to the safety man. Runs right over the safety man. Navy is just more emotional, more intense. That's the only place they have the edge. That's what football is about.
Smith, the fullback, number 38. Klaus, the tailback. Mish, the throw. It is almost intercepted. And almost intercepted again. Major had it and popped loose. And the second South Carolina man almost was able to grab it.
That was a poor throw by Mish. You'll watch the tight end crossing. You'll see him right there crossing. He's wide open.
But he throws to the wide receiver. As you can see, the tight end, there's nobody even near him. Instead, he throws right to the defensive back, Major. I don't know why he threw it there. He's in perfect position. Second down and 10 at the 47-yard line. This is Klaus again. In the open, 30 to the 20. And he goes all the way. Touchdown, Navy. A 53-yard run for Klaus. The senior in his final home game from Alexandria, Pennsylvania. An electrifying play. 20-7 Navy. Push-ups for the plebes. And they're doing it happily. No doubt they're very glad to do that. A second down passing situation. They caught South Carolina looking for the pass. They were able to cut into the secondary, and he goes all the way. Missed to hold for Solomon. Let's watch it again. Just a power play up the middle. He hits the hole. All we see is the end of it here. Klaus has good speed. He outruns the secondary for South Carolina. That orange juice is starting to turn sour on South Carolina right now. Richard Klaus, a senior tailback, 21 years old. Give me 20. 12:44 to go in the third quarter. 21-7 Navy. In Annapolis at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium, the Naval Academy attempting to pull off what would be one of the great upset shockers of the entire collegiate season, leading 21-7, but a long way to go yet. Well, remember, we had them 2 weeks ago when they had Notre Dame down by 10 with 4 minutes left and couldn't hold on. Raynard Brown is just going to let it go. Touchback, 1st and 10 for South Carolina at its own 20-yard line. Now, South Carolina's big tight end, Chris Corley, as you look at the scoring drive particulars, Chris Corley, the 6'3" senior tight end, is out for the rest of the game because of a hand injury, so they have lost him. And they will start the ball and play at their own 20-yard line again. And, in fact, Stan, you mentioned that game with Notre Dame that Navy played a couple of weeks back. About a month ago, we were in South Bend when South Carolina played Notre Dame. And South Carolina trailed Notre Dame by a couple of touchdowns late in the third quarter. I think it was 26-14, and they put on a tremendous surge and won that ball game. Yeah, they sure did. South Carolina's got the manpower. Navy has shown a propensity to lose that lead. Mitchell at quarterback, and the ball is carried by Quentin Lewis, number 9. He's up to the 25-yard line. Brought down by Mike Taylor, number 62. Second down and 5 yards to go. One thing about that Notre Dame game we saw a month ago here in Home Team Sports, South Carolina, even though trailing, had been playing much better than they played today. They've been having a poor game today. They have no intensity, no enthusiasm. Lewis again, and he's stacked up after a couple of yards. One thing about South Carolina, if you've watched them play on television or in person anytime this year, you'll see them running, jumping around, slapping high fives on the back. You haven't seen much of it this year, this game. There's Bob Mish on the sideline. Mish, a sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio. Chris Wade comes in with a play for the bench.
Here's Mitchell. 3rd down and 3. And he's short of the first down. He kept driving forward. He needed to get to the 30. We'll see where they mark his progress.
They marked it on the 30, which is a first down. That's a very suspect mark at this point. Didn't look like he got to the 30 to me.
Controversial call there, and you see Gary Tranquil giving the referee an earful. Mike Taylor, the man who drove him backwards. Let's see if we can tell.
Maybe we'll get a little better angle of it here, but it didn't look like he got up to the 30-yard line. It's pretty close. The ball was close from the angle. Maybe the referee was right. You mark where the ball was, not where his feet was.
His feet were. Well, the ball was at the 27. They got it to the 30 for a first down. That's Dendy hit behind the line of scrimmage. Number 22, Tom Metzger there, along with number 73, Kent Van Horn. And they'll mark it at the 29 for a yard loss. Second down at 11. South Carolina averaging about 450 yards per game, and about 250 of those on the ground.
They really haven't had the success running the ball that they need to win this game. They're basically a running team. Their passing game comes off the play action, off the run.
Wade to the left, Hillary to the right, Mitchell to pass on second and 11. Intercepted! Navy with an interception, picked off by Joe Papetti. Number 47. Papetti, we've said his name a few times today, a senior defensive back from Edgewater, Maryland. 5'10", 175. And so it goes for South Carolina.
Well, he never saw him as a crossing pattern. He just sits there as a rover back and waits for it. A lot of freedom as a rover back.
First and 10 at the 42-yard line. Pretty good opener there for Chuck Smith, number 38. Smith, a freshman from Strongsville, Ohio, starting because John Berner, a sophomore, could not make it due to an injury.
Again, Navy's just more intense, more emotional.
Hollinger's in there now, out to the top of your screen. Keep it on the ground. This is a second down and 5. Not much there. Now you see the fire ants trying to get fired up. There's Tony Guyton, number 93.
Well, he's trying to play to their fans. We saw them do that at Notre Dame. They got them really fired up. But they can't wait much longer. They give up any points here, they're in trouble. They're already almost in field goal range. They probably are because of the wind factor.
The ball is in the 35-yard line. Third down and 3. Hollinger to the left, Weiler to the right. Klaus, first down, still going, and down to the 21-yard line. 14-yard gain. First down, Navy. Klaus, and perhaps Joe Morrison and his fire ants are saying, who is that guy?
Just a little screen pass, and the difference in college, you can block downfield on screen passes. That's why nobody was up on Klaus. They blocked and shielded that man from coming up. A big gain for Navy. And Navy right now is in control of this game.
Now whistles blow before the play.
They're only a man short. They only had 10 guys on the field for South Carolina. Here comes their 11th man.
And it's been a day of mistakes for South Carolina. And now they lose what might be a valuable timeout later on in the fourth quarter. As it is, 9 minutes left in the third quarter. There's your score, an upset in the making. We'll find out. Be sure and stay with Home Team Sports later on tonight. It all starts at 10:30 with Racing from Laurel. This is where you get all the results from Laurel. Then at 11:30, it's same-day coverage, exclusive coverage of the Maryland versus Clemson game. That's right here on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. John Miller and Stan White here in Annapolis. Navy with the football. First and 10 at the 21-yard line. Mish hands off to Chuck Smith. Down to the 15-yard line. The holes that they are getting in the midst of that South Carolina defensive line seem to be getting wider.
Well, South Carolina is not a big defensive team. They pride themselves on hustle, that fire ant theory. And right now, Navy's just going straight at them, knocking them out of there and creating holes. Probably the best way to attack South Carolina.
Let's call it the 14. Second down and 3 yards to go. Pitch out to Smith. And he is hit at the line of scrimmage. He may have gotten a yard. Joe Brooks, the first man to hit him. That is Mike Smith, the sophomore, back in there at tailback, replacing Rich Klaus. Incidentally, we might mention here, Klaus, who broke loose that 53-yard run for a touchdown. That is the longest run of his entire career. His longest this year previously had been 23 yards.
Well, between him and Eric Rutherford, two seniors, having a great day, their last day at this stadium.
Double tight ends on 3rd and 3. In motion is Hollinger. This is Mike Smith. Can he turn the corner? And he does! First down, Navy, down to the 8-yard line. He bounced off a tackle and got the yardage he needed. Bryant Gilliard finally brought him down.
Well, he just makes this on his own. He gets around on the pitch. Number 20, Bryant Gilliard, just misses the tackle. He just runs over him. A great run by Smith.
It'll be first and goal.
John Sniffen, a tight end, comes in now. They're going to go with double tight ends. Stevens to the right, Sniffen to the left. Play action. He's going to run it. Now he throws. He's out of bounds. He threw it out of bounds, intending it for number 81, Ken Hine. It'll be second down and goal. The ball is, we'll call it the 8-yard line, about the 8.5-yard line. Well, Navy, with a touchdown here, could go ahead 28-7. We are halfway through the third quarter. And with that element of the strong, cold breeze.
Well, South Carolina's got to make a big play. If they want to go to any of the major bowls, they need a big play right about now.
This is Hine in motion. Second and goal. Smith to the 5 and maybe across. That is Mike Smith. Or Chuck Smith, rather, the other man back there. That's Joe Brooks on the tackle.
This is the play that he scored on earlier. That Klaus scored that long run on. Just better play by the South Carolina defense.
Third down and goal just across the 5-yard line. John Lobb is out at wide receiver. Hine is in motion. Long count for Lobb. He cannot hold on to it. He had it at the goal line. Tight coverage provided by Earl Johnson, number 22.
That was real good coverage by Johnson. Lobb went inside, then back outside. A good move, but it was good coverage. Able to knock the pass down.
Navy with 103 yards offense, but unable to get the 5 yards here that they really wanted. Now they'll try for a field goal. That's 103 yards in this quarter. South Carolina has picked up 19 in the quarter.
This is a big field goal.
This is Todd Solomon. Mish will hold. They're going to mark it at the 12, a 22-yard attempt. Wind at his back. It is good.
And there go the plebes for their push-ups.
6 minutes and 29 seconds left, third quarter. Now it is the Naval Academy 24 and South Carolina. Remember, they are ranked number 2 in the country, previously unbeaten, 24-7.
Back again at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, Tom Davis together with John Miller and Stan White. It may be the biggest upset in college football this year. Navy leading South Carolina 24-7 with just under 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. Maryland and Clemson are now tied at 17 at the half at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore before a packed house. And in our game, again, it's 24-7 Navy in the third quarter. Let's go back upstairs to John.
Thanks, Tom. Still like that hat. The more I see it, the better I like it.
I think you look good in one, John. In fact, you look good in any hat.
Any kind of a... Here's Solomon to kick it off. This one is coming back toward Raynard Brown. 2 yards deep, he's going to run it out. And as it turned out, it was a decision that he perhaps should not have made, as he gets only to the 17-yard line. So a 19-yard return, and it's first and 10 of the 17.
You need big plays right now when you're down this many points. He returned a kickoff of 99 yards last week. You take that chance for 3 yards. I'll take that chance anytime.
Hold is coming at quarterback, number 7, Mike Hold. Intercepted again. Intercepted.
Mike Taylor, second interception he's had today. I always said those linebackers have great hands. South Carolina might not only lose, they may get blown out by Navy.
Taylor had not had an interception this year until today.
You can see it's just a play-action pass. Taylor doesn't get drawn up. He stays deep, takes the wide receiver crossing.
This is Chuck Smith to the 19-yard line. Line of scrimmage, let's call it the 22. So he got 3, second down and 7. Paul Vogel brought him down. So South Carolina with 3 interceptions thrown, and they have lost a fumble. There you see the story. 4 turnovers. They've had 3 fumbles that they recovered themselves. They had a hard time holding on to the football. And Smith, this is Mike Smith, cannot even get back to the line. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up, as Frank Wright, number 90, brought him down.
Well, South Carolina's really going to start wondering now, what's happened today? Why can't we play the way we played the rest of this season? We know Navy's not that strong to do what they're doing to us. Joe Moore.
It's 17 at the half at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore before a packed house. And in our game, again, it's 24-7 Navy in the 3rd quarter. Let's go back upstairs to John.
Thanks, Tom. Still like that hat. The more I see it, the better I like it.
I think you look good in one, John. In fact, you look good in any hat.
Any kind of a... Here's Solomon to kick it off. This one is coming back toward Raynard Brown. 2 yards deep, he's going to run it out. And as it turned out, it was a decision that he perhaps should not have made, as he gets only to the 17-yard line. So a 19-yard return, and it's 1st and 10 of the 17.
You need big plays right now when you're down this many points. He returned a kickoff of 99 yards last week. You take that chance for 3 yards. I'll take that chance anytime.
Hold is coming at quarterback, number 7, Mike Hold. Intercepted again. Intercepted.
Mike Taylor, second interception he's had today. I always said those linebackers have great hands. South Carolina might not only lose, they may get blown out by Navy.
Taylor had not had an interception this year until today.
You can see it's just a play-action pass. Taylor doesn't get drawn up. He stays deep, takes the wide receiver crossing.
This is Chuck Smith to the 19-yard line. Line of scrimmage, let's call it the 22. So he got 3, 2nd down and 7. Paul Vogel brought him down. So South Carolina with 3 interceptions thrown, and they have lost a fumble. There you see the story. 4 turnovers. They've had 3 fumbles that they recovered themselves. They had a hard time holding on to the football. And Smith, this is Mike Smith, cannot even get back to the line. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up, as Frank Wright, number 90, brought him down.
Well, South Carolina's really going to start wondering now, what's happened today? Why can't we play the way we played the rest of this season? We know Navy's not that strong to do what they're doing to us. Joe Morrison is pacing the sideline, thinking the same type of thoughts.
3rd down, 8 yards to go. Shift into the eye. Smith and Smith, the running backs. For Weiler, pass interference is called. Number 22, Earl Johnson, tripped him. I think inadvertently so, but he was beaten on the play. The ball was overthrown, but then he tripped the man, and interference call.
As I interrupted you, I was trying to say that they had the blitz on man-to-man coverage. He just grabs him. He's beaten right there. He knows he has to grab him to stop the touchdown. Obvious interference.
And as it turned out, at least from the way it looked here, although the man was stymied a bit because of interference, looked like Weiler was going to be overthrown.
Well, I don't know. It was hard to tell because he's getting held the whole way. But that's what Navy has done all day. Every time they catch him in the blitz, they send Weiler that short slant pattern, just running away from the defensive back. Well, I think he may have had a shot at that one, John. It's hard to tell, but the back had tackled him, so we'll never know for sure.
Well, Johnson, having been beaten then, did good. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Mish brings him up. Play action. He's got it to Weiler. Touchdown, Navy. Weiler, the senior from Annandale, Virginia. And again, a touchdown after a South Carolina turnover. It is 30-7, and a shocking score emanating from Annapolis. Mish will hold for Solomon. It's good. 4 minutes and 55 seconds remain, third quarter. It is Navy by a stunning margin of 31-7.
That's just a little play action off the bootleg play, off the counter play. Weiler went deep and then came back. As a defensive back, you got to stay in front of your man. Let's watch him right here. The man left him. He came up with, look at number 22. I don't know where he was going, but he left Weiler. You got to stay with your men down there.
That's Earl Johnson. He's the man who interfered with Weiler on the play prior to that.
Well, Johnson's not one of their top 3 or 4 cornerbacks. They've had a lot of injuries there, and it sure has hurt them today.
And the plebes do some more push-ups. This may be the high water mark for push-ups this year.
They've done 55 in the last 5 minutes, so their arms should be rather large by the end of the day.
Well, can South Carolina pull this one out? Is there time enough for them to do it?
I tell you, I never want to say nothing can happen, because who would have thought we're coming down here, we're looking at the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, we're looking at the national champion South Carolina team, and what happens, they're down 31-7. We wouldn't have been surprised if it had been 31-7 South Carolina, but we are very surprised to see it 31-7 Navy, but who knows what can happen.
The last time that Navy hosted a team that was ranked as high as South Carolina, I think it was 9 years ago when Pitt came here.
With Tony Dorsett, they lost 45-0.
Yeah, Pitt and Dorsett beat them big. Raynard Brown brings it out, and look at that. The Naval Academy is inspired. Carroll, number 21, is the man who brought him down. And South Carolina, it just gets worse and worse. They will start at their own 9-yard line, going against the wind.
But we haven't seen any team been dominated this year as much as South Carolina has been today. And they come in ranked number 2 team in the country.
There's Mold, number 7, and a quarterback. Cadendi. And finally out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
He was a step from going all the way on that one. Good run by Dendy. Dendy's a class back.
Mark Furley finally ran him out of bounds.
Good call, draw play on first down.
He gains 23 yards on this play.
Opens up wide. I know the defensive linemen are expecting pass with the score the way it is. And when you have him going out wide, you just run that draw play in there.
Hold wants to throw. That's Corley. Tight end has hurt his hand and had to sit out for a while. He's back in there now with his team trailing by a big margin. And he's got another first down.
There's nothing to save it for. They lose today. It could be all bowls out the window.
Dwyer finally brought him down.
He's a good athlete. He's really come on his senior year. He led the team a couple years ago and didn't hardly play last year, but he's come on this year.
First and 10 at the 43. Hold to Quentin Lewis. He was hit and then hit a second time. Shand Van Hulsen was in there, and it's let's call it a 2-yard loss to the 41.
South Carolina cannot afford to take a lot of time in between plays.
That's an interesting stat. Today could be the biggest victory for Navy in 21 years. That was back in the Staubach era, was it not? 63. Flags are thrown. The play is dead, and it looks like it will go against the Gamecocks.
Like somebody moved a little early. That's when they stopped the play.
You know, they've got a balanced attack at South Carolina. They're outstanding running, but they've had a good success with the pass. But now when they're down by such a big score, they may have to go to the air that much more. Is their passing attack good enough for that kind of a game?
It's not that type of passing attack. It's not the drop back, wide open passing. The reason they're so successful passing is because their run is so good. Teams get caught up. They have to play man-to-man to stop the run. Their pass is an offshoot of their running game. If they can't get it running, their passing game is not the type that can bring you back.
Good point. Second down, 17. This is Lewis. And he's up to the 39-yard line. A gain of about 4 yards, and it will be third down. Still 14 to go. Joe Papetti made the stop. 3:25 left, third quarter.
Well, they need a big play here. They really have their backs to the wall.
Poole comes in. He goes out to the top of your screen. Wade to the left. He's going to try to get out of there. Now he's got to run it. And to the 47-yard line. Mike Taylor, the first man to meet him. So, a broken play on 3rd and 13. It'll be 4th down and 7.
And what do you do here? You're down 24 points. Do you punt? It looks like he's got the punt team coming on the field.
They're going to give him up to the 48 just about. 4th down and a long 6. They are going to kick, apparently. The barefooted punter comes in there. Tom O'Connor. Steve Brady. And Joe Papetti are deep. A low kick. They'll let it roll. And down to the 22-yard line. A kick of 30 yards, even with the roll. And O'Connor there, even with the wind against him, just didn't seem to hit it well anyway.
Well, it's tough to punt into that wind. All he wanted to do was get the punt off. Right now, Navy has to guard against letting South Carolina get an easy touchdown. So they just, all they did was go back and let him punt the ball. They looked for the fake.
Quarterback Bob Miss, a sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio, center stage here at the Naval Academy. Hine comes in motion. Flag is thrown. This is Klaus for maybe a yard. Wrapped up by number 44, Paul Vogel. Let's see what the flag is.
Probably another illegal procedure. That's illegal motion this time. They'll probably decline it. There's no gain on the play. Oh, no, they're going to take him back, it looks like.
So they'll give Navy an extra down and take the yards. Back to the 17-yard line, first down and 15.
Time is a factor. You don't want to waste any time.
2 minutes and 19 seconds, which they do by giving them that extra down.
Exactly. That's why I thought they would make it 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, rather than 1st and 15.
Chuck Smith, the fullback, to the 20-yard line. Tony Guyton, number 93, brought him down. So we looked at one of the Navy cheerleaders. Incidentally, the University of South Carolina cheerleaders have asked us to wish one of their fellow cheerleaders, Lisa Niederheiser, a speedy recovery and return to the South Carolina squad. And we send along our best wishes to Lisa as well. John Lobb is in there now at tight end. Play action. And there's Lobb. First down to the 35-yard line. Raboon brought him down. Marking it to 37. Big play for the young quarterback.
Well, Mish is doing the things that the South Carolina quarterbacks had done previously. Up to this game, he avoids the rush, able to get the pass, and a great catch by Lobb. Navy is just dominating the game today.
Hollinger comes in, replacing Hine now. Hollinger comes to the right side. Also in there is Mark Alexander at fullback. Not much there. Vogel on the tackles. Klaus gets maybe a yard. To the 39. We'll give him a couple of yards on it. Second down and 8. Lobb back in along with Weiler. No, Lobb's going to go out now. No, he's going to stay in.
I don't think either of them knew who was coming in and who was going out.
You couldn't see any of that on your screen, but he was in and out and in. He's staying in. Lobb goes to the left. Weiler to the right. Alexander and Klaus in the backfield. This is Klaus.
Reverse pass.
Lobb sends a long one for Weiler. He's got it! To the 19-yard line of South Carolina. A 42-yard play.
time he's ever thrown one that was completed.
That's why they couldn't decide who was going in and who was coming out. Lobb had to stay in the game, and he couldn't decide which position to stay in for.
1 yard there for Klaus, and that'll do it for the quarter. Here's that play again. Good catch. It was a bit underthrown, but Weiler able to come back and get it.
Weiler was in position. The defensive back was being turned around. He could use his body to shield the defensive back, which he did. Look at that score.
So right here on Home Team Sports, the story of the day, maybe of the years, being written at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. 1 quarter to go.
Just moments ago here at Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, these Navy players were saying just 15 more minutes. It's 31-7 favor of Navy, headed for their biggest upset maybe in the team's history, as they're leading South Carolina, the #2 team in the country, and unbeaten. Elsewhere in college football today, Ohio State has a 7-6 advantage over Michigan in the 4th quarter. If Ohio State can win, they're going to go to the Rose Bowl. Let's go back upstairs to John and Stan.
Thanks, Tom. 15 minutes remaining, and Stan, you were making a good point during the break there about Lobb. We had told the story of he was in, he was out, he was in.
Well, they wanted to get that play in. It was the last play of the 3rd quarter with the wind. They wanted him in to throw the reverse pass. They got it off, and it was successful.
Now they go
into their advantage.
That's right. Now they face the wind. This is Smith to the 15-yard line. That was a 2nd down and 9 play. And South Carolina's very upset over there. About what?
Well, I think it was the Navy fans. They ran him out of bounds, rolled him over a few times. I think they thought they were being a little bit too rough with him, but that's part of the game.
It'll be 3rd down and about 4 yards to go now. And they've called, is that a penalty against South Carolina for being overly aggressive?
That's what they must have called. I didn't see the flag because it was so far out of bounds.
I don't think
half the distance to the goal line.
I don't think they ever even dropped a flag.
I don't see one over there.
So a costly play. They just kept shoving him after he was already out. The officials penalized him for it. So now it is 1st and goal at the 7. Look at those total yards there. Navy had 181 of those in the 3rd quarter alone. Hine is in motion. South Carolina offside.
Doesn't matter.
That's Smith. Touchdown. Mike Smith. A 7-yard carry. It's 37-7.
Into the end zone untouched. The same play Klaus scored on from 53 yards. This time it broke outside. Navy is just demolishing South Carolina. We talked about emotion. We talked about the last game at Naval Academy. It just shows you how much a part emotion is of football, especially college football.
That's Solomon. He's got another one. He has kicked 5 of those today. And he is 20 for 21 for the season. 38-7. And those Navy plebes have been busily doing the push-ups all day long. 5 touchdowns and a field goal 6 different times. They've hit the turf.
Well, I'm sure they're glad to do it. As we were saying, that's part of the emotion we're talking about. Part of college football is getting the players fired up at these home games, and this being the last one for a lot of these Navy players, it sure has inspired them today.
There's that knuckleball kick. Anthony Smith. There's just nothing there. There's been nothing there for South Carolina all day long.
Navy is giving no quarter at this point or any point during this game. They have thoroughly dominated the 2nd-ranked team in this country.
South Carolina 9-0, and including a string of impressive victories. But right now, they are impressively taking it on the chin. is at quarterback. Bradshaw to the 40. Run out of bounds by Steve Brady, number 45.
Well, John, South Carolina comes in with a 3 wide receiver offense. I'm sure they haven't had to use this much this year, but a good strong arm by Holt. He throws a 20-yard line out pattern. Not very many pro quarterbacks can throw that pattern and still get it in there.
South Carolina has averaged about 18 pass attempts per game with 10 completions. Hold the pass. There's the rush. They got him. The sack by number 78. That's Rutherford again. By our count, that's his 4th. They're going to mark it at the 33. A loss of 7. Second down and 17.
I can't imagine a better way to end your career at the Naval Academy. These guys know they're never going to play football again. They have that 4 or 5 year commitment afterwards to the Navy. This is a great way to end it. They'll remember this the rest of their lives.
Again, 3 wide receivers. Second and 17. Everybody's going out. For Quinton Lewis, he can't get it. Nobody was open. He had half the team out there running pass routes, and none of them could get open.
As you saw, there's very little pressure because Navy dropped off 9 men. The middle guard even dropped off to cover it back out of the backfield. So they took away all his alternatives as far as throwing the ball. A good call on 2nd down and 15.
The South Carolina faithful, there are many of them here at this stadium, sitting in a state of shock right now. The Gamecocks trailing 38-7. 3rd and 17. It is completed to the Navy 45-yard line. Completed to number 12, that is Bill Bradshaw.
That's amazing that they were able to complete that ball on 3rd and 17. Brady was going for the interception. You know, this is almost garbage time. You pick up a lot of interceptions and sacks. Watch Brady going for the ball here, and he runs right into the man.
1st and 10, let's call it the 44-yard line. A gain of 23. This is Quinton Lewis. And he sprung a tackle. Fudge had him and was able to get forward for maybe 3 yards to the 41. 2nd down and 7. 12 minutes and 50 seconds to go. A lot of time left, except when your team is down 38-7.
It's not, I don't know how much time you need to score 31 points. But I think more than 12 minutes.
Here comes the rush. Dendy to the 37-yard line. They got about 4 yards, and that was
Rutherford again.
Rutherford all over Holt just as he threw it. Penny made the stop ultimately. Gain of 4.
Well, Holt must think Rutherford's part of his own backfield. You can see him right there. He just had to toss it out to his safety valve. You don't make very many yards throwing it out to your back in the flat.
3rd down, 3 yards to go. Poole and Hillary out to the left side. Wade to the right side. This is Quinton Lewis, 1st down to the 27-yard line. Dwyer was there, so was Metzger, and so too was Mike Taylor. But it's another 1st down. South Carolina not only needs to score here, they're going to have to create some turnovers and get a few miracles.
Well, they sure are. I mean, I don't see any way for it to possibly happen, but I don't see any way for Navy to be ahead either. So we just have to wait and see how this game turns out. Interception.
Ball was tipped, I believe, by Jim Dwyer, number 58, got his hand on it. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Going right to him. He just couldn't get his other hand up quick enough to intercept the ball. That was not a good pass again.
11 minutes, 28 seconds left in the game. Bradshaw to the left, Wade to the right, Hillary flank left, Dendy and Lewis in the backfield. 2nd and 10. That is Wade, number 2. Driven out of bounds by Metzger.
It's a very tough pass to roll one way and then throw an out pattern all the way across field. He has a major league arm. You see he rolls to his left, turns, and throws all the way to your right. The defensive back was just holding inside position because you never expect him to throw that pattern. It's so difficult.
Now, Danny Smith is in at tight end. Here's Lewis on 1st and 10 to the 10-yard line. Scrimmage was at 12, so he got a couple of yards. 11 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. You know, Hold has only thrown 68 passes all year coming into the game. He had completed 38 of them, but for 900 yards. So per completion, he's averaged about 23, 24 yards.
That's because he scrambles around so much. He makes big plays. He gets the defense to overcommit and throws the bomb behind him.
He is 9 for 14 in this game, good for 76 yards. 2nd down and 8.
He's audible. He's got a safety blitz coming. Here it comes.
That was Danny Smith, number 41. And the pressure applied by number 41, Mark Furley. Incomplete, 3rd down and 8.
Well, we had Papetti coming on a safety blitz. He read it. You can see Papetti coming.
There he is, number 47.
Usually the strong safety takes a tight end. When he blitzes, the weak safety has to come over, which is Furley. He covered a lot of ground quickly. He probably anticipated the audible being called by Hold.
Bradshaw to the lineup, number 12, and he goes out to the top of your screen. Mike Hold with a 3rd down and 8 at the 10-yard line. Overthrown, intended for Ira Hillary, number 1, the senior from Edgefield, South Carolina, but he was well covered. 4th down and 8. One thing we know here is they are not going to go for the field goal.
I wouldn't think so. Not down 31 points.
10 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game. John Miller along with Stan White, and this coverage of what may be the most stunning upset of the year in college football coming to you exclusively on Home Team Sports. 4th and 8. He's got some room, and he cannot make it, but he might have made a 1st down.
Looks like he's got the 1st down. We'll see. It's going to be real close.
Eric Fudge finally drove him out of bounds.
He's right at the stick. This is what Hold does. He makes big plays on his own. He does make the 1st down. Just true athletic ability.
Hold,
see that little move there, a little dip. He was able to get outside and get the necessary yardage.
He has averaged nearly 3 yards a carry. And in college football, the quarterback rushing stats include his sacks.
So you can almost double or triple that on what it would be on running plays.
Quinton Lewis carries.
Lewis, number 9, but not quite. Meanwhile, the clock continues to run. 10 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. McFarland, number 70, the middle guard, brought him down a half yard short of the goal line.
2nd and goal and the 1.
Dendy in the backfield with Lewis. It's Lewis again. Touchdown, South Carolina. And across the field from where we are, the South Carolina fans who made the trip up from Columbia, for one of the few times today, can jump up and cheer.
Well, there's not a lot of cheering going on, though, John. If you look at South Carolina's bench, they just scored a touchdown. And I don't see one player going up and congratulating anybody or clapping or doing anything. They realize they're almost dead in the water.
Quinton Lewis with his 3rd touchdown of the year.
He just barely gets across on that.
They're going to go for 2, which there are many obvious reasons for that. And now Navy wants timeout. Was Navy fooled there? Did they not expect?
Well, they only have 10 men on defense, and they might as well use one up at this point. Don't give an easy 2 points.
An 80-yard drive there in 15 plays, but it also took them 4.5 minutes of precious time. 38-13. This is John Miller and Stan White here at perhaps the demise of South Carolina. Ranked 2nd in the nation in the midst of the greatest season in their football history, but getting clobbered by an unlikely opponent for an upset, the Naval Academy. 38-13, a 2-point conversion attempt coming. Hold is the quarterback. Wide open. is Quentin Lewis, and they got it. So it's 38-15. Still 9 minutes and 58 seconds left in this game. Let's go downstairs now. They've got Tom Davis standing by. Well, before we go to Tom, let's take another look at that one.
Well, again, it's just a rollout. Nobody takes it back out of the backfield. You saw the safety blitz. That means the linebacker's got to pick him up. He didn't do it. I think.
All right. Now, here is Tom Davis.
Well, thank you, John. South Carolina getting its first points in the second half now and trailing 38-15. Elsewhere on the college football scoreboard today, North Carolina right now has a 14-3 advantage over Virginia at the half. Of course, Virginia will be hosting Maryland next Saturday in Charlottesville, and Home Team Sports will have that game for you. And Maryland and Clemson right now are tied at 17, so it should be a very important game. Maryland and Virginia next week, and Virginia's trailing North Carolina now at the half. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And that's a point we might bring out in terms of the problems for South Carolina. Not only are they losing today, but next week they face a ball club that is very capable of putting it to them, the Clemson Tigers on Clemson's home turf. So even a 10-1 season is not a sure thing, because they've got a very tough, one of their toughest games of the year coming up next week. They're looking for the onside kick. They're going to get it. Let's see who gets it. Navy's got it. Well, an onside kick is always tough when you've got everything going for you, but when the whole world is looking for it.
Well, that's why they tried something different there, John. They had the ball set up on the tee. One of the South Carolina players came up, took it off the tee. They all went in a huddle around the kicker. The kicker just rolled it forward, and they tried to recover the ball. Navy was just alert to the straight-ahead onside kick.
Mark Furley, number 41, as you saw him come off the field for Navy, the man who picked it up. So it's a Navy ball at the 50-yard line. South Carolina needs to provoke a turnover. Bob Mish, the quarterback, is in motion. This is Klaus. He's stopped there at the corner and run out of bounds. Number 21, Raboon, brought him out. Give him 3 or 4, give him 4 yards to the 46. Second down and 6 yards to go. Do you anticipate now Navy just going to keep it on the ground from here on?
Well, I think they would. I think they try to run off as much of the clock as they could. Maybe throw a play-action pass in there now and then, but a safe one where the quarterback's rolling out and can run if somebody's covered.
Proud day for those fellas from Navy.
Go!
The Navy record is 3 wins, 5 losses in 1 tie. Hine in motion. Here's Klaus again. No room. He's lucky if he'll be given progress to the line of scrimmage. And Paul Vogel was in there again. There's a look at that Navy bench. Here's Furley, the man who just recovered that onside kick. He's number 41, number 22 there. That's Tom Metzger.
I'm sure they're savoring every last moment of their last game here. For a lot of these seniors, maybe the last time they'll ever put on football pads.
Mike Ray comes in with a play. He's number 82, a flanker back. Ray will go out to the right, and Weiler will go left. Still to come for Navy. One more game 2 weeks from now in Philadelphia, the Army-Navy game. Look out, a fumble! And South Carolina does not get it. Number 21 was there, Raboon, but what happened, Stan? He just didn't see it, I guess.
Well, I guess he couldn't get his feet together to get it. And, Klaus comes up with the ball. Another big play by Klaus in his last game at Naval Academy Stadium.
That's a loss on the play of 19 yards. 8 minutes and 9 seconds remaining. We've got a timeout taken by South Carolina to stop that clock. 8:09 to go. We'll be right back. Be sure and be with Home Team Sports tomorrow afternoon. The world-famous New York Cosmos make their first ever indoor appearance in Baltimore, facing the champion Baltimore Blast. 1 o'clock game time for those of you in the Northwest. You will see the Washington Huskies take on Washington State at 3:30. Then at 7 p.m., the New Jersey Nets take on the Seattle Supersonics live from the Kingdome. and it's all Sunday on the Super Channel out there in the Pacific Northwest. And we're certainly glad to have you with us. This is John Miller along with Stan White and Tom Davis. A punting situation for Navy. Mark Colby, there's the lone deep safety, Dunlap. Here's the kick, a low one. A Navy roll to the 31-yard line, a 34-yard kick with no return, and only 7 minutes and 56 seconds remain. Let's quickly add it up. 3 touchdowns with the resultant 2-point conversions. Assuming all of that is successful, South Carolina's ahead.
39-38.
3 touchdowns in 8 minutes. That's not as unlikely as it sounds.
You got to put that up there on your wish list pretty high.
Fingers are crossed all across the state of South Carolina. Hold to throw. Bradshaw was there, couldn't hold it. Pressure applied by Furley, number 41. Again, the last time that Navy defeated a team that was ranked in the top 5 in the country was 21 years ago in 1963. Navy this year has victories against North Carolina. That was when they still had Napoleon McCallum in the backfield. Against Lehigh and against Princeton. Ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Number 85, and there he is again. Chad Van Hulsen was there, who said his name a lot today.
Sure has for his first start. He's filling in today, and he's done an excellent job. He may have won a starting position.
Line of scrimmage is the South Carolina 31-yard line. Watch for number 85 here.
With the bull rush from the backside, he hits him as he goes to throw it. Just ran over the man.
3 wide receivers. That's Bradshaw to the 46-yard line. Hit by Brady, number 45, immediately. But that's good enough for a first down, a 15-yard gain.
South Carolina will be in a 2-minute drill the rest of the game, even with 7.5 minutes left. They have to score often and they have to score quick.
Might call this their Orange Bowl drill. That's Wade, but he's dropped for a 2-yard gain, making a 3-yard gain at the 49-yard line. Dwyer was there to cover him up immediately. So second down and 7. 7 minutes, 10 seconds left in the game. Navy 38, South Carolina 15. He's got time. And that was Rutherford. Rutherford's the man who hit him and forced him down just across the 50-yard line.
Not quite a sack, almost his 5th sack of the year. He got just across the line of scrimmage.
Timeout, South Carolina. And by our reckoning, they are all out of timeouts. We will double check that for you. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. We had a penalty there. Is that a penalty?
No, looks like he called a timeout.
It is a timeout. So we do have timeout. 6:43 to go. 38-15. Navy. The beautiful town of Annapolis. That's the setting for what may be the darkest day of South Carolina's outstanding football season. 38-15 Navy, and you're seeing it exclusively on Home Team Sports. 3rd down and 5. Dendy, nowhere to go, and a flag is thrown. Pass completed to Dendy on a 3rd and 5 play, but flags are thrown.
Face mask penalty on Navy.
And a break that South Carolina has needed all afternoon.
Well, South Carolina put in 4 wide receivers and ran a middle screen to the remaining back. Again, Eric Rutherford almost intercepted the screen pass and ended up making a tackle. They must have latched on to the face mask accidentally because it's only a 5-yard penalty.
Mark it down to the 43, but it is a first down for South Carolina. Now they've got Wade and Bradshaw out to the left, Hillary and Poole out to the right, only Lewis in the backfield. Hold the quarterback. Now he's got to run it, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock to the 36-yard line. A gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3, but now 6 minutes and 19 seconds remain.
Good awareness by Holt. He scrambled around. He looked and saw he was over the line of scrimmage, and then just took off, knowing that he couldn't backtrack and throw the ball.
Now in the lineup for South Carolina, Emory Bacon, number 4. He's out to the left, along with Wade, Hillary, and Poole to the right. Plenty of time. He's going for the bundle. He had number 2, Chris Wade, a senior from Athens, Georgia, there. Overthrew him. Metzger was right on top. So it's third down and 3 yards to go at the 36-yard line. If South Carolina scores here in the near future, and if they get the 2-point conversion, the Navy's got to start thinking a little bit. Do they not?
Well, I would imagine they would if they got within 2 touchdowns of it. They'd have to say we need a first down. Maybe we'll put the ball up in the air, which could change the complexion of the game.
The short man, and it's completed to Corley, the tight end of the 32. I think he's got the first down. Let's see where they mark it. Jim Dwyer, number 58, brought him down. And that's awfully close. Are they going to measure it? If they do, no, they're not. It is a first down.
The clock stops on first down, so they can get set up and run a play.
6 minutes remaining. First and 10 of the 32-yard line for South Carolina. Hold, has time. Now he's being chased. Incomplete, intended for Bradshaw. Every play is almost like pulling that arm in Las Vegas. He puts the quarter in, he pulls the arm and hopes to hit the jackpot.
Well, they're dropping a lot of people off. They're staying back in their zones. And it's tough to get somebody open unless they put those 4 wide receivers in there and spread the zones out a little bit.
He's looking all over that field every time back. Out to the left goes Bradshaw along with Bacon. Poole to the right. Here they come. He's in trouble, puts it up for grabs. Intercepted by Furley at the 5. Back to the 22-yard line. He put it up for grabs, and perhaps that one pass alone is the symbol for this whole South Carolina game today. Put it up for grabs in a desperation situation.
It does epitomize what's happened to them today. As you can see, he just throws off his back foot, hoping for a miracle. There's no miracles today, and probably no oranges either.
How about some sugar? I thought that was cute what you did at halftime.
Cute, is that the word for it?
First and 10 of the 22-yard line for Navy. 5.5 minutes to go. 38 to 15. Chuck Smith, number 38, the freshman fullback from Strongsville, Ohio. Paul Vogel brought him down. You know, Napoleon McCallum apparently really thought he was going to win that Heisman. I mean, he'll never know now. Nobody will ever know. But in the true sense of being an amateur, McCallum certainly was one, as are all these Navy players. They make their commitment, as you were talking about earlier. They know they're not headed for the NFL right out of here. And it's just, I guess, a sad mark on what has been a great day. Here's Klaus, flags are thrown. Klaus is off to the races and finally run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A run of 45 yards, but there are flags thrown.
Looks like a holding penalty from the man who threw it.
And out of bounds. There was a flag.
It is. That's the
Legal
preliminary
use of
call.
hands.
Yeah.
That's okay, oh! That's okay!
Somebody down there in the Navy bench says, that's okay. It's, well,
if you're ahead by that many points, I guess you can afford to be...
Chuck or Rich Klaus may not agree.
You can afford to be a little bit forgiving when you're that many points ahead.
Klaus has gained 94 yards and 11 carries, and he would have had 45 more right there. But what I'm saying is, I guess the one negative aspect for all of this was that Napoleon McCallum, the great star of this team, not only missed out on a chance at the Heisman, but missed out on this great performance today, too.
Well, it's been a tough year for him. He hopes to come back next week against Army in his last chance to play college football, maybe his last chance to ever play football. I hope he gets that opportunity next week.
That'll be December the 1st against Army in Philadelphia. This is Smith. Mike Smith, look at him go! And out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A 34-yard run by Mike Smith. And the heart is just not there for South Carolina. A 45-yard run is brought back for a penalty, and that's followed up by a 34-yard run.
Well, it's just great running. Look how many tackles he runs out of. Just Smith has had a great day. Navy has had a great day. As we said, you can never measure emotion. You can never say how much that plays a part of a football game. You can say today that the reason they won was because they were more emotional than South Carolina was.
Smith, 16 carries and 93 yards. Now there's Klaus, and he gets a couple to the 43. Klaus with 12 carries and 96, and all of this against a team that has been among the nation's best at stopping the run.
Yeah, they sure have, and they're just having problems everywhere today. I think the real telling point of this game came early. Navy turned the ball over the first 2 times they had it. South Carolina had a chance to really convert those turnovers and run away with this game. They didn't. Navy stayed in the game and were able to put together some drives and some points of their own and have dominated ever since.
Hollinger wide to the right side, lob wide left, Mish the quarterback. That's Mike Smith across the 40. That was a 2nd down and 7 play for the 42. And Ron Monaco brought him down. They'll mark it at the 40, give him 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Tonight, same-day coverage of the Maryland-Clemson game. That's a big one. And then remember, you'll get a chance to see the ball club that South Carolina's going to have to beat next week to go 10-1. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. 10-1, South Carolina still got a shot at one of the big ones.
It may not be the sugar or the orange.
Well, Smith got back to the line of scrimmage and then was detoured by Joe Brooks, among others. Give him a yard to the 39 on his progress. It'll be 4th down and 4 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. You think that even with a 10-1 record, even if they should beat Clemson big next week, that this game is going to put them out of one of the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl?
I think it has a good chance. I think the Orange Bowl is probably out because they won a national championship showdown. They could have had it if Nebraska wins and South Carolina does. The Sugar Bowl may be a possibility, but there's more glamorous teams available in South Carolina like Boston College.
And they're just letting the clock run, and they get called for it. That's a call that they're not worried about. The line of scrimmage, the 39-yard line. It gives them an extra 5 yards to fool with on their punt anyway. And it also runs out as much time as possible. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left in the game. A shocking turn of events here at the Naval Academy. A day that will long be remembered in the annals of each of these schools, but for vastly different reasons. Here's the punt now by Colby. Remember, he's kicking into a strong wind down at the 19-yard line, a 25-yard kick. 2:13 to go. Let's go downstairs, and here's Tom Davis.
Well, elsewhere on our college football scoreboard today, John, we've got Maryland on top of Clemson by a score of 27-23. Game now in the 3rd quarter at Memorial Stadium before a packed house. So 60,000 there, and here in the Naval Academy, we've got more than 27,000. So more than 87,000 fans have shown up to watch college football in the state of Maryland as the 2 big games occurred today. And elsewhere in college football, we've got Notre Dame leading Penn State now 44-7 in the 4th quarter. So Notre Dame really pouring it on. Let's go back upstairs to John.
Mike Hold the pass. He's throwing the bomb. He's got Poole out there. He's got it. An 81-yard touchdown. touchdown pass. Number 5, Eric Poole, a junior, caught that one, and now it is 38-21. Still 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. And perhaps even now it is still too early to say, well, this one's all over.
Well, you wouldn't have fooled me, but that's a cardinal sin. You never let anybody get behind you at this point of the game when you're that many points ahead.
They'll go for 2, quite obviously. Their only hope is to make the 2-point conversion and to get 2 more touchdowns and make those 2-point conversions on those as well.
Well, they moved the ball over to the right hash. Usually teams move over the other hash to roll the right-handed quarterback. They're going to be rolling to his left side.
Bradshaw left, Wade right. Everybody covered. That's Corley, the tight end, and he couldn't hold on to it. Number 41, Furley was there to bump him. Corley was waving his arms, saying, "Here I am." So that is a big play. It'll take more than 2 touchdowns now.
Looked like a little interference here. Let's see it. Maybe not really. His own man forced him to drop that ball. He came by and hit it with his body. Number 2, Chris Wade, hit Corley as he was coming down with it. It looked at first like interference, but the replay shows it was probably his own man that made that incomplete.
Hold, by the way, 13 for 25 and 208 yards. That's the scoring drive. I guess you call that a drive. That was an electrifying play. Now they'll obviously try the onside kick.
We don't even have
the midshipmen are ready to party.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they were looking earlier, the midshipmen were looking for Don Meredith's "Turn Out the Light, the Party's Over" song. The leader didn't know the words, so they came down and got somebody to tell him. I don't know if he's singing it yet or not. Here's that kick again, that weird kick.
Didn't go 10 yards anyway.
But it looked like Navy may have touched it before it went 10.
Navy's got it. And 2 seconds left in the game.
Let's watch it. There's that kick we're talking about. The ball's laying flat in the ground. They just kick it as Navy comes up for the ball. What they do is make Navy make a choice. If they wait for it to come 10 yards, they got all those blockers to try to catch the ball. If they go up early, they still got to field it in all those people.
Joe Papetti is the man who grabbed it. Bob Mish brings his team up. Minute 50 to go. Mish and the keeper, and he got 2 or 3 yards, but also gobbled up a lot of time on that sweep.
Well, they just want to stay in bounds now. They don't want to risk any handoffs. That's one reason you have the quarterback keeper.
South Carolina has used all of its times out, and there's none left.
It's over at this point. They needed to recover that onside kick to have any reasonable possibility. At this point, Navy's just going to lay on the ball and let the clock run down. There's nothing South Carolina can do about it. They see their ball hopes fold.
That's the time left. Mish, just to make sure that they run the clock, don't fumble it. Well, now we've mentioned South Carolina, the implications on its bid for a major bowl. What about Navy? All of a sudden, that Army-Navy game looks fairly attractive.
Yep, sure it does. Army has really come on strong. They beat some good teams this year. I think both teams will be ready for that game in 2 weeks, and I'm sure that Navy feels a lot better going into that game than they would have had the opposite occurred today.
3rd down, 12 at the 48-yard line. He's going to fall on it again. 30 seconds left. And a little bad blood now.
Well, they're just frustrated. South Carolina's a couple cheap shots there by the South Carolina linemen. They know the game's over. There's no need for that. The ball won't even be snapped again. It's all over.
All right, let's just listen now. Here's Morrison coming over to shake Gary Tranquil's hand. Listen to this. so, Joe Morrison, who's brought this program at South Carolina so far in such a short amount of time, from a 5-6 record last year to a shot at a national championship this year, and he sees it perhaps go all down the tubes today as the midshipmen stand at attention for the alma mater, I guess. And South Carolina, well, they head home knowing they've got their work cut out for them next week against the Clemson Tigers. And still a shot at an outstanding year, but the national championship, well, that will apparently have to be decided somewhere other than South Carolina in 1984. So the home season has come to an end for the Naval Academy. A poor season. Their record, 4 wins, 5 losses, and a tie. But what a way to go out. Let's go downstairs. Here's Tom Davis.
Well, John, we've got Gary Tranquill, head football coach of the Naval Academy. Your defense was superb today.
Yeah, we were superb. We played a great football game today, except for the last few minutes. But I'm proud of those guys. We faced adversity all year, Tom, and we came back and we played today like we're capable of playing.
Offensively, Klaus was excellent on that run for the touchdown.
Both backs. Mike Smith, too, had a clutch run late in the game, and I thought Bobby Mitch was superb. Our coaching staff did a great job preparing us both ways, offensively and defensively, and I'm proud of them, too.
It's got to make your season, right?
Well, we got one to go, you know. We got the big one to go, but this will help.
Gary Tranquill, the head football coach of the Naval Academy. Congratulations to him. Let's go upstairs to John and Stan.
And our congratulations to Coach Tranquill as well. And they've got their date 2 weeks with Army. 38-21, that's the score. Navy upending number 2 South Carolina. We'll be right back after these words.